It is that time where you're going to do your taxes, and you owe it to yourself to check out our guy, Bernie, at OrlandoCPA.net. It's KDK Accountancy Corporation.
Yep, we've been using Bernie and his team for years, and it's the best thing we've done for our small business, and it just makes it easy, and we know that our taxes are going to be done right, which is important for a small business.
Bernie takes the time to explain everything to us, and he does it all.
Yep, it's KDK Accountancy Corporation. That's OrlandoCPA.net.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha and Butler are here, and you have a burning question, my friend?
No, well, okay. So, and maybe Samantha can look this up. Do you think it exists? And this is why I was stupid to ask Jana, because she probably doesn't know, or maybe she does. Do you think there are people that live their life in a wheelchair that don't need to because that's how they want to live? You see what I'm saying? Like, because
I'm sure it's happened.
Like, I'm not talking about because they're like have a problem walking, or like they could walk but they'd there
are people with like Munchausen's and stuff that make themselves sick.
Yeah. And
so it could be where what are they pretending that they're handicapped?
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's not like they're pretending.
It's not pretending. It's a problem, right?
They want to live their life in a wheelchair. But yes, technically they are pretending, because everybody, obviously, every sane person.
This actually happened in a true crime story. Ended up very poorly. The daughter was basically being medicated when she didn't need to be, was forced to be in a wheelchair when she didn't need to be by her mother, like her whole life. And then eventually she found out she could walk.
Well, you mean adult choosing of his own,
volition, to live their life in a wheelchair.
The answer to your question, and most of the time is, I think, is going to be yes. Because people are crazy, and I think this year of all years, the end of 2020 at least, we all know that we've seen crazy things this year, and anything is possible.
And is that disrespectful to a person that, like Jana, that paraplegic, that has to live their life in a wheelchair? I guess it would be interesting to see what Jana thought about that.
If you were throwing it into someone's face, yes. But I don't believe that.
Or if you were taking up, like, maybe a handicap stall or something where you could physically go use something else what they need it.
Beyond that, like, let's just say I'm a crazy person. I want to live my life in a wheelchair because I like the way people treat me or something. Who knows why?
Well, Grady brings up a good point in the Twitch chat room. There's what if I'm so big? What if I don't want to exercise? What if I love eating and I am lazy? And what if I have chosen to become very large? And
there's a lot of those people at the Walmart.
That's called the Walmart. And that's what he's saying, though. He's saying that these are people. And look, and I'm not judging you. If you chose this and you're happy, then I'm happy you are happy. I really believe that. Yeah. That's not my life. That's your life. But there are people that choose to consume so much that because they don't want to run, they don't want to exercise, and they just want to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, but they're in a wheelchair because it's actually laboring for them to walk. And I'm talking about like a fit, regular person just living in a wheelchair day to day because they prefer living like that. And it's like, and they're not hurting everybody. They're not taking up any handicap spot because obviously they don't have a handicap placard because they're not handicapped, but they just live their life in a wheelchair. I wonder what someone who has to live their life in a wheelchair would think about that.
That you could have asked her. What she would have thought. That would have.
But Jana's too nice. She'd have been like, I don't care what anybody else is. Probably,
I think that is a thing, and I'll tell you why. I have science to back it up. If men will do documentaries and drive around with real dolls in their car and not be embarrassed of that, then I think somewhere there's a dude that will drive around and then get out of his car, walk to the back, get out his wheelchair, sit in it, lock his car, and wheel it. Because it's just...
There's people that amputate their limbs.
That's what I was going to say.
Because they have...
You took it right out of my mouth. That is fascinating to me, dude.
So I wonder, if you have an amputated limb and then you see someone voluntarily amputate their limb because they have some sort of...
Oh, you'd be pissed.
But I don't know. Would you? I don't care what this person... That's crazy.
It's going to be case to case. But yeah, I'd be mad at you.
Yeah.
If I were sitting there with you and I had the opportunity, I might throw an insult at you and be like, "Why are you doing that? You're lucky to have that."
Let's switch gears a little bit.
But it's not my business.
Let's talk about
I mean, it's their body, their choice.
But I would say that probably because I'd be like, "I'd love to have your leg."
Let's talk about the documentary you guys watched that I told you about the villages.
I loved it.
What did you guys think about it?
First of all, it is without a doubt the prettiest and most beautifully shot.
The cinematography is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, let me clarify. I'm not saying that what they were filming, the subject matter, the landscapes, is super beautiful. It's not. But the way that they present it and the cameras that they use, the lenses, and the way that it's shot with the equipment that they used is probably some of the most creative and nice-looking film footage I've ever seen.
And
I agree.
It's called
Some Kind of Heaven.
Some Kind of Heaven on. Is it Netflix?
We found it
You
on
gotta-
Amazon
Yeah,
Prime.
I rented it from Amazon. as
Amazon
well.
Prime. Okay.
I think it is in certain theaters for
Yes.
like release as because for like film festivals and awards, and then it's early release online right now.
I think it's on HBO Max or something because we didn't pay for it.
I think you did, buddy, because
Yeah,
I
we-
like to find it for free, and I
Yeah.
have HBO Max,
Okay,
and it
we
was not
may-
coming up.
we may have.
We texted
Because
your-
it just came out.
We texted your wife and she said Amazon and it was $6.
yeah,
Ah.
yeah.
Everything else we checked Netflix, everything Hulu, HBO Max. all-
Anyway, so what me and Crystal were talking about, and Crystal's always found this disturbing and also like to be true based on who she's talked to, and I'll explain. We've heard from elderly people in our lives, like my pop-up has told me this, like her grandparents and stuff, and even people that are older, like our parents and things. We've always heard like them say, I don't feel this old. Like I still have the same brain
Right.
I did have when I was 20.
Yeah.
And I'm the same personality. And I'm still the same person. I'm just in an older body. And it's so hard for me to comprehend that. Which is easier as I get older, obviously. But it's like when I'm 20 and you're seeing someone like my pop is like, whatever it is, that's like older, like in their 80s. I just assume like they've graduated or they've evolved into a different person than they
Yeah.
were. But it's the
And
same person.
I think that there are, of course, going to be changes,
Yes.
and you're going to grow. But I think deep down, you are who you are at a certain point, right?
That's what I'm. Yes, it makes sense. Obviously, that's the truth
This
of it, but it's
documentary-
hard to grasp that.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to see me thinking and being the same person, but being 80. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, how
I
can
don't
it be?
feel like it's that hard to see you at 80. I'm
I
looking
know.
at it.
Like
I
okay,
know.
like Tracy says in our Twitch chat room. Tracy, one of our most dedicated listeners, watched the same documentary we're talking about, and she said, "I might need to move to the villages when I get old. I love the socialization." I will tell you, in watching that documentary, the main idea for me was that I will absolutely never put myself in a community that's only people of my age because I feel like that kills you.
Also, I'm sure you all noticed watching it. It's particularly one set of age group and one race.
Yeah, one race. Yeah,
It
there's
was
one
all old
muscly
white
black
people.
guy in there. There's
well, but
one
you know what I
muscle
mean.
man.
Like it's very
Yeah.
secluded of maybe richer.
Oh yeah,
older
people
white
have to have
people.
money to live
You
there.
gotta
Yeah.
have some kind of diversity
I just
in my
like
life.
that type of
Everyone's the
like-minded
same.
old community. I felt like these people were missing a lot of the stuff that you can even learn from younger people, and I feel like being around younger people, maybe I'm not that old yet, but maybe makes you younger,
Keeps you younger,
keeps you
yeah.
younger because it looked like they're like now again they're only taking a certain level of subject matter, and they pick some characters and some real wild ones.
Yeah.
But I did feel like in looking at them, the one kind of thing that they all had in common is that none of them would have had the experience that they all experienced in the documentary had they not all chosen to park it right there in this big hub of retirees. It could be good, it could be bad. Like I looked at it and I'm like, that is not for me.
Right.
That is going to kill me because it's too much of a complete bubble. You know,
Yes.
and then it made me start thinking about even living
Which they
in
did on
Baldwin and living in a
purpose.
bubble. You know, it's
Yeah.
like getting out of the bubble, I think, is important. And
Well, the older you get, I think the more bubbly you
I
want to
agree.
get. Like
I
you know,
agree.
like I think you start venturing.
Yep.
Out. It's kind of like
It's extremes, right? You either want the bubble or you want to live way out in the country around no one.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
So
Yeah.
you want to live around no one, around
Or
everyone, or
everyone.
around no one too. It's like
yeah, I think a nice medium around some people is probably the
Yeah.
good.
So
pick.
what made me like I've never experienced. There's a character in this documentary that's just basically a moocher. It's just
I'd
con
like to
man.
call him an F boy.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
he's an old school con man.
yeah, where he's
Can't say it on ACT, but
Yeah.
He's trash.
Yeah. And he's like, and we all know
He's
someone.
the best character in the show, but yes, he's a horrible individual.
And we all know a character like this who we've met in
Yes.
our lives and stuff. Is like
I might have one in my family.
a moocher, a person that's looking for someone else to just take care of them or whatever,
Yeah.
and like no matter what it takes.
Who
to
plays-
Lying to his mother. By the way, how old is his mom?
Yeah, I
he
know.
sounded coherent as hell,
I
but
had
he's
to
got to be in his 70s or 80s.
love
He's
that part.
82, I think.
He's
Oh
82.
my God.
He was 82, and his mom. We said the same thing.
She had it together.
She may
though.
be like 97 or something. You know, because
sounded great.
back then. She could have had a kid when she was 15 or something.
He's
you
just
know?
lying through his teeth to her.
I looked up all of these people during the
Did
movie
you?
to see where they are now. By the way,
It was weird. I never think they even.
I
do
found
that.
them all
I
on
was like,
Facebook. I found all their real pages.
But it's like for whatever reason you don't think of a personality like that being 82. Probably a lot of them don't live to 82 because they're like
Right.
bad living or like a happenstance.
And of course, his name was Dennis. I'm like, there it is.
There it is.
Or you get your S together at some point, and then
Some people never do.
I know, and
Yeah.
and I'm like, how did this guy? He's 82.
I know a few of those people in my family.
Never got their S together,
Yeah.
but that's what kind of scared me. I was like, oh my god, like this person, I could see the personality.
This would
but
be
he's
you
old.
if you were single.
No, too awkward.
There was a Tom vibe in there.
Yeah.
No.
He
I'm not
literally rode on Crystal's coattails through life. She's taking care of him.
Yeah, I mean, how good are you at playing washboard while Crystal sings? That was one of the parts. Why did they cut back to that? They only showed him doing it in the beginning. He's playing the
Right.
washboard and she's singing, some song, and then he was like singing along.
So how and this kind of led me into thinking about how the villages work. And I know we have some listeners that live out there in
That
the
work out there
villages.
too. Yeah.
And I think if you work out there, you could live out there, and that's part of like a perk of something like that. But you don't maybe necessarily don't have to be 55 and older. Or
I mean,
whatever.
one of the
Sure.
things that I got mad about were the little gates.
Mm-hmm.
When they talk about they put up the gates, but they're like, we're a gated community, but technically there's nothing.
Yeah. The
we're not a
lady's
gated.
like, anybody can come in.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, then tear those things down.
Right.
And I think it's just to deter people just wandering in there. They see that, and then it probably deters some people from even bother. They're like, "Oh, gate," and then they, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
And they can get an old person to
Yeah, it's
just
all
wave at someone for
psychological.
free.
It's all selling the dream.
Yeah, and but I want so all the property in the villages. That is, are they building more?
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
continuing
They showed-
expanding.
You saw at the end they showed.
Yep.
Like they showed all the new stuff being put up now.
and then
And the cycle continues.
I'm sure it's probably there's association fees and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Business.
My father-in-law moved out there last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Some people love it. Like
Could he tell us about it or
No.
No,
He
okay.
won't even talk to me. You think
There
he's
you
going to talk
go.
on the radio?
back to you, Sam?
I am interested to see how his life has changed since he's been out there.
because
though.
because they did in this documentary. I don't want to spoil it, but one of the characters didn't necessarily like living there and kind of stuck there and that kind of thing. And so
Yeah.
they weren't showing like not everybody is like happy go lucky. This is the best place on earth.
Oh, there was a lot of sadness in this documentary. It wasn't the
Oh, I thought the majority of it.
swinging, partying villages that some of us locals hear about. This was sad.
I thought the majority
Well, it's
of it
real.
was
It's real.
sad. Yeah, it
Well,
was.
that's because life. Guess what? It's not all
No.
swinging and partying. There's
No.
sadness and there,
Yeah.
it's all everything. So of course the village is going to be like that. But yes, it's not the. It's funny how they portrayed it as like the Disneyland for old people. It's like
Right.
very Mayberry, very mainstream.
Well, they copied it.
Yeah, they did.
The
Yes, yeah.
firm they hired, basically.
Which I kind of like that. But I also am like, I don't think I could live there, though.
No, it makes sense.
It's nice to have a sense of community, but
Sure,
but
I mean,
a
we
little
kind of
bit
have
too
that
much of a
here.
bubble.
We kind of have that here in Baldwin in a weird way. It's like some sort of a version of trying to make everything kind of look uniform and sell this kind of this. It's not even real. You're selling
celebration. It's all,
kind of, yeah, you're selling almost just like an idea of a community where everybody is just a little bit better, and it's just
But that's nice.
Doesn't always work out.
No, but it is like the quintessential. You walk, every house looks the same.
Yeah.
It's all everybody's friendly. It's safe.
but
it's,
also, everyone's in your business.
Oh,
gossip
I can
crazy.
imagine. Oh, yeah. Because everybody is
Knows
the same
everybody.
personality that they were when they were 32.
Another underlining kind of theme for me when watching it was to be mindful as I get older on how embarrassing I can become.
Okay. Yeah.
Truthfully, like it made me think about Andrea and Maisie and thinking, don't take up.
Oh, yeah.
Don't go have a Tai Chi drug freak out.
Oh God, that guy.
Well, I'm just
That poor lady.
Yeah, just
Well,
we won't go into any more
Toxic
there. But I'm just
relationship.
telling you that story. That's the guy I really looked up hard, and man,
when he was
and
in-
his YouTube
He
channel.
made me so mad.
Have you? Did you subscribe to his
the
YouTube
mental
channel?
illness and
You know what's weird is they showed some of those the more manic videos in the documentary, and when
Yeah.
you go to his channel, which I found, he only has 105 subscribers. Well, 106 after I subscribed. But
well, it's
real.
Well, I'm surprised. Like he's we're gonna give some of it away, but he's in court and he's talking to the judge. He's being a d-head, and the judge is yelling at him.
Well, he's a mental problem.
But
does
I'm
have
like,
Yeah,
why does
it's not has nothing to do with his age.
No,
has
no.
nothing to do with anything. He
But-
is a mental person.
But the judge wasn't
Someone-
treating it like a mental problem, which I'm surprised the judge didn't
Yeah.
recognize immediately that this
well,
guy's
obviously, you have a mental problem.
yeah, so like he kept saying you're the rudest person I've ever
No,
talked
he's
to.
not being rude.
Yeah.
I actually disagreed with that. I was
Me too,
like,
me too.
I don't think he's being rude. I think what you're
He
saying
can't
is
ha-
he's having a manic episode, and you're too dumb to pick up on
Yeah,
it.
Well,
that's
not everybody is, trained or susceptible to like even picking up on those cues.
But
I
a
know, but he
judge,
wasn't.
has to
They
be.
just are worried about the law and how you speak to them.
It's true.
Well, not everybody. Even judges can do their job poorly.
Yes, exactly.
But like the
Free
judge
Britney.
has to be around a lot of mentally ill
You would
people
think.
enough to understand
What if he
he's
doesn't
looking
care,
at.
though?
Maybe he just doesn't care,
Yeah,
which I like.
also, does the villages have their own police force and
Yeah,
courts?
Yeah.
I think they do.
And their own
Not
radio
court, not
station.
Not court, you don't think?
They have to go to court in the county,
Okay.
whatever. What is that? Is that Osceola?
Honestly, I don't
No,
know.
no,
It's not Osceola.
It's whatever Ocala. What's Ocala? Because it's right near Ocala, so I think it's the same county.
I don't remember.
Anyway,
Apologies. Lake. People are
Lake
saying
County,
Lake
yeah.
County.
Marion Lake and Sumter.
it's a
It's a tri-county community.
it's a fascinating little spot in Florida that
It made me want to go there with you, honestly. It made me want to grab the mobile equipment and go to that town square where they have the statue of the guy that invented the villages and just sit there for a second and just kind of take it in and then just be done with it. Because it's weird. There's something very odd about it.
So obviously it's a business, and the villages like it's a corporation.
Oh, people are saying Marion now. Marion
It's
County.
3 different counties.
Oh, is it
Yeah,
all the?
it spreads
so
three-
it's in the center.
Yeah.
What do you think? What did the villages corporation make? I mean, are they insanely successful?
No
it seems
idea.
like with that many
It
people,
seems like it would be, yeah.
and because
Was it Hughes, the guy that put it together, and then they showed the son standing with the statue?
I don't remember his name,
because
but
it seems like they
that
get
son, by the way,
they
just floating in the pool next to Dad.
I loved it. I thought
So
it was great.
weird.
It was great.
It is weird because you think to yourself, like, if you
Did
are,
he grow up at the villages as a child and
Must
then
have.
stayed?
Probably, yeah, he probably
his
did.
whole life? Oh my God!
But also for a business like the villages, which I assume is like successful, right? Because of,
People are still moving.
yeah.
Like, we know people that are moving there.
And I assume that they charge a pretty hefty monthly association
Oh,
fee
for
to be,
sure.
so it's like, and then for this guy to even
There's probably
be,
even like an activities
Yeah.
fee for
I'm
like
yeah,
the
I'm
classes they have.
why make yourself like you look like a fool floating around in a pool? Like, not that you look like a fool, but it's
I
just
mean,
like
he did.
it's just
So
like
here's
how?
something from our Twitch chat room. Mommy Cray Cray says they pay a CDD for the development of the community. It's sometimes pretty hefty, and then they pay an amenity fee that isn't so high. But that's really no different than here. Like, I pay a townhome fee bi-monthly, and then I pay a resident area fee twice a year or so. So yeah, I mean, it really is
yeah.
no different than any other thing. But
But-
there are 3,000 different clubs, I guess, in the area that you can join, whether it's rowing or dancing or that tambourine thing looked fun.
But it's also just like
Game for some
there's got to be a
sit-down tambourine club.
there's a certain element of Planet Fitness business model where all these old people, a lot of them are paying for activities they never
Right,
use,
yeah.
because you have to.
Let me throw a question back at you.
Yeah.
When you saw all of these subjects, I'll use the term subjects and I'll stop doing as many specifics because I really was one of my favorite documentaries, and you watch a lot of really good ones. When you saw all these different human beings, did you think that all of them were old enough to live there? Because I did not.
Oh, really?
The eyeshadow lady I thought was too young to be there.
Nah.
I thought that, like, there were certain
late
people.
50s
Remember
or
the
60s.
She was just dyeing her hair.
Remember the tan guy that they interviewed, and he has the picture of his wife who died, and then he slides his new
Yeah.
picture. He looked too young to be there.
Yeah.
There are certain people that I understand you're retired. I get it, and you may be 60, 55, whatever.
Yeah, I think
but
you
to
just
me,
need to be 55.
It makes me feel
Yeah.
like you should be in a single. Like, I don't feel like you should go to the community until your whole entire body has graduated to white. When your body graduates to white, then you are allowed entrance into what is
too
called
late.
pre-heaven.
It's too late at that point. There's a point where you start getting into your 75, 80s
But people
where
with-
you're not moving around.
If you have dark hair, though, and dark features, and you're in an old, like, retirement community, it's off-putting to me. I need you to be whiter, like whiter hair, whiter goatee.
Yeah. The amount of I'm like looking at golf carts. There's a bunch
so
of
you're going to move to the villages.
No, there's something alluring about a golf cart to me, and I want to
Swamp person.
drive
It's
it.
swamp person
It's
luxury. Is what it
fancy.
is.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
swamp
No, you
person
sound like my
luxury.
It sounds
wife.
fancy.
Everybody wants to take the little vehicles for a ride. You know what I'm saying?
There's something-
You've had a full-size, man. Why not have a fun-size?
There's a mindset about driving around a golf cart that I kind of want to
Because
be
you think
in.
it's no rules.
Is
You
that-
can drink and drive and go.
Yeah, well, okay,
Yeah, I know
there's
what
some
you're
of
doing.
that.
Uh-huh.
There's some of that.
One compound rule is the only reason he wants one, and then the word is seatbelts. If he
Right,
can drive
right.
with a
Yeah.
beer in his hand with no seatbelts, he's the happiest man alive.
And I know that some people in my neighborhood on the nice side have been getting all golf carts or whatever.
Your neighborhood's nice.
No, but there's a nicer on the other side of the. It's
Well, that side's too nice.
the one that the further away from the apartment complex you
Oh,
get,
Of
the
course.
better it
Yeah,
gets.
yeah.
Anyway, the
Out of the delivery range for Buffalo Wild Wings,
they drive around golf carts, and then
do they have a drill team?
and I found out you can get a golf cart and turn it into street legal, and then you can drive on any Florida road as long as the speed limit's 35 or under. And so,
Okay, what
so
if-
you can literally get around
Wait a minute.
all everywhere.
Wait a minute. Do you want? And I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Do you really want a golf cart?
Yes, I do.
I have my mother's
And it hauls.
monster truck golf cart.
Yep.
I will give it to you because I have no place to keep it, and it is
By the way,
it's rotting up there.
That the beach house that your mother owns.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of the
very
villages.
very much. That's
When
why I'm
me
probably
and my
gonna
husband
sell it.
spent some time out there, and I was just like, I don't know if I could live like
It's
this.
it's very much villages. I will give you that golf
I
cart.
could live like that.
Do you
I
want
think,
that
I think
golf
you
cart?
could.
I want to live at your mom's beach house and drive around a golf cart
Yeah.
for the rest of my life.
Done. I'll make it happen. I will give you that golf cart. It needs to be run. Seriously, it's got $1,000 worth of brand new batteries in it.
The only, I guess,
Just don't tell Crystal, 'cause she'll get all
trepidation
mad
I
at
have- that's the problem. Is like I'm driving to work. I'm like, yes, I'm in my golf cart. I have the time, and then I get hit from behind
And
by,
you fly out.
by some teen girl.
6 Carly.
Oh, man.
Some teen girl's texting, and she hits me at 50.
For
like,
sure.
Doesn't even stop,
My
and
God.
it rockets me through the plastic windshield, right? And my pants get caught on the
Oh, it
steering
just
wheel,
rips them
and it
off.
rips that off.
Yeah, but it also rips one of your arms off, and then you're laying and you're dead. But you could still hear Megan the Stallion playing from her Audi. Megan the Stallion's playing from her Audi, loud as hell.
And what happens is my body gets propelled into the back windshield of a minivan of
Salt Life
kids,
sticker.
kids going to school.
Oh man!
And then I do that move where I'm unconscious, but I'm trying to get, and then I'm like that. You know those
like
deer?
a deer that wakes
Yeah.
up in the back seat.
It's like you hit a deer, and then it starts.
Except you're a naked man, and and your back half is just whipped crazy,
Yeah.
and you just shaved that night, so it's real fresh and shiny down there.
And I'm like
Bumpy.
I'm like,
Ink.
I'm making the deer sound, blood's flinging
Oh, my
everywhere,
God.
and the kids are screaming, and I die in the car, and then they have to make the whole van a crime scene,
Yeah.
and it's a whole thing.
And then we have a funeral, and I get Porky's barbecue to catering.
Yes, I'm there.
Porky's in a
I
pop.
like how Samantha says yes. I've always
I turned it around. Samantha and I are listening to what Janice said. We're finding little nuggets of positivity.
Right. So you got to find the good and the bad.
Tom died naked in naked in a van, whipped crazy, and we got Porky's barbecue at the funeral. It's
Get that
delicious.
sloppy cow.
all worth it. Bye bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
Welcome back indeed. I'm Dan.
So we got Pabone on the line. Do we got any intro for
I
Pabone?
lost the original bounce. I lost that because remember we upgraded our computer right before Christmas.
With a bone in.
Okay, Sam,
got that?
Sam's in charge of writing a new one. In fact, you and your husband
I like that way better.
are more than happy to record what you just sang. That was, you see, Pabone already likes it. On the line with us is artist extraordinaire and a man that Tom likes to wear out by giving him crazy ideas to draw. And then, do you ever pay him for said wastes of time?
I can't remember things like that.
Eric Pabone on the line. Eric, real quick, where can people find the art of Pabone?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Art of Eric Pabone, PABON.com. You can find all my stuff there.
Boom.
Pabone, before we get into some ideas, some shirt ideas.
Oh, man, you know what I should use for this and not even use a theme? We should just play Bonin' in the Boneyard by Fishbone. Got me boning. Got me boning. No? All right.
I don't know the song.
I'll see myself out.
Who let the dogs out? That's all I got.
No.
Pabone, you know how, like, you either can sing or you can't sing for the most part, and maybe...
Is that an analogy in some...
Maybe you could sing a little bit and you can get a little bit better through technique and through practice, but I feel like if
Your diaphragm, working on your diaphragm.
like I'll never be able to get good at singing because
You
I
will.
just have a genetic...
No, you absolutely will. In fact, there's a brand new Tom song that will be debuting on this week's Friday Free Show.
What does that mean? What is that?
Is that true?
And,
It's absolutely true, Pabone, and it's just for you. I'm dedicating it to Pabone.
So, is that, you think that's comparable to art or drawing where, like, no matter what, even through, I guess through some practice and technique, I can get to a certain point, but I'll never pass a threshold. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing, Pabone.
It just seems like I don't...
Pabone, here's the thing. Tom says, and you know, he has said that there are very few tasks that he can't at least get the general idea or be able to tackle if given 2 weeks practice. The only problem with the scenario that you've thrown out, timeless. I mean, you've done this for years, Tom. You've been saying 2 weeks I can do pretty much anything. You've never tried it. You've never actually said, okay, my task is X, and here's 2 weeks, and I'm going to go do it. You've always claimed, but you've never put it to the test.
Well, except
you have to put it to the test. So why don't you try singing for 2 weeks? Why don't you take lessons? And then in 2 weeks' time, we, the audience, will judge whether or not the 2 weeks. Because now I'm tired of it.
No,
now.
it doesn't work with singing, art. It doesn't work with a lot of
artistic things,
natural talent. You know, I'm talking about filling a cavity. Or like
filling a cavity,
you know, or being a pharmacist. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like the general strokes of the job.
Oh, that's my name. That's my porn name. General Strokes.
Like sewing something, something that
sewing something.
You know, you could actually teach me. Like I
you're
feel
sewing something, all right now.
We could teach you how to Dougie.
Well,
pretty sure we'll be reaping.
Tom, here's the deal, man. Like, let's do this. Because, you know, we kick around these ideas for shirts. Why don't I give you a few lessons, and the next T-shirt that you guys put out can be your design?
Okay, now we're cooking with Crisco. Now we're warming the grease.
Yeah, okay,
this is a great idea. This guy hates fun, and a couple of days ago, Pabone, I almost got him to round a corner, and he was almost into fun. But right now, I can see him regressing. Look at him. Look, he's touching his forehead. He's touching he's slapping his sunburn. Yeah, stop touching your
cream on there.
Yeah,
you got to put some cream on that thing, dude. It's a red hot crackle red,
to crackle,
and it's starting to. You got a zit on it now
extra red
because you didn't wash it and you let that sunburn grease sit on there all day.
It was my face was too hot to put in hot water. Like I went to go wash my face, and I was like, "Yeah."
Once the tough and his sons can't put warm water on the sunburn. All right.
Anyway, So now with lessons, Pabone, and I know maybe people are tired of me trying to figure out like how.
Let's hope not. We got to ride this out for about 20 more years.
So I've seen on YouTube, and sometimes like my sons, especially Tommy, who has the art gene or whatever.
He's a good little artist.
As opposed to like he's just interested more into it, but he'll go on one of these how to draw like a puppy or Sonic or whatever, and it'll be a tutorial.
Right.
And
Yeah,
then
Maisie does those.
Start with the circles or whatever. Like, is that what you mean as far as lessons? Because
No. We got to get you in touch with your emotions, man. That's
no,
one.
come on.
Art therapy.
What does that have to do with anything, Pabone? You're talking about wife. Like, I just want you to.
What if you could draw your wife?
And
What if you could draw your own soapy butt by pouring your emotions into the paper?
Draw her like a French girl.
Yeah. Would you draw your wife for a bit? I'll draw Andrea nude. I'll draw Andrea nude, and I'll try my hardest.
Yes.
You draw Crystal nude and try your
And
hardest.
Pabone's the judge.
The BDMs are the only people that get to see drawings, not reality drawings.
right.
They're the only ones that get to see it. You have to sign up to see our drawings. They will vote winner. Loser gets tattoo of drawing on their ass. Let's do it.
why?
Bet me.
Why?
It'd be kind of weird if Tom had
you little-
Andrea naked on
Little
his butt.
bitch. You little
Oh my
bitch.
God!
Why?
Spicy Tuesday.
I've always wanted to yell. I don't know what that means. It made Butler laugh.
I did for a little bit like get aggressive. I was like,
I liked it. I got horny when you turned to me. I know what your wife wants now. When you turned to me, I was like, "This guy's gonna ravage me." I can't wait.
I did.
My God,
I
bite my neck again.
I want to bet you. And I think I'm pretty sure I can win. But okay, going back to you saying you have to get in touch with your emotions, and like that's the element of art that I can't do. I don't understand. Whatever.
Right.
Like I can understand that. Hey, draw 2 circles and draw 3 circles, then connect them. Like
One circle. If you get 1 circle, you get 2 circles. 2 circles, you get 4 circles.
Right.
4 circles, 8 circles.
And then
It's not that you got to be a super emotional cat. You just have to figure out what you're trying to say. So if you're trying to say, "Hey, I view the world as a robot," you can express that in art. It's just a matter of figuring out how to.
You're
put
actually
pencil to
better
paper
at
and do
this
that.
than you think.
I
Let me
don't
tell
want
you
to
something.
express anything.
I'll use a real world example from one of our friends in a good BDM. Summer Aiello, her daughter Paigey, right, is a really, really good dancer. And then some people ask, how does she dance like that for her age? How is she able to do that? How is she able? It's like you're watching her, like, oh my God, tell the story. You're supposed to tell the story. You do that all the time, man. You are a natural, if not the best storyteller I've ever met. All you got to do in art, like Pabone. When Pabone draws, he tells the story. Pabone, what are you working on recently? Like, give me something. Your Swamp Thing was beautiful.
you need the talent to
thank you,
figure out how
man.
to
Yeah.
draw.
Yeah, but
it really is. It really is a parallel, man. It's a lot like what you guys do with the storytelling and just going down this crazy road of improv.
How did you walk me through? Okay, like you drew Swamp Thing, and then you kind of it looked as if you had infused different types of like plants into it, and you gave it like almost a more imaginative and lovely spin rather than a grotesque and kind of horrible spin. What were you thinking about when you were telling that story?
So I was always inspired by the cover of this comic. It was Alan Moore's Saga of the Swamp Thing, and there was this kind of beautiful painting on the cover. So yeah, I'm always referencing things that were like important to me or that I really liked. So there's elements of that in there. I kind of wanted to just make something sort of sad, and he's got all these flowers growing out of his back, and it's beautiful, and it's spring, but he can't really enjoy it because he's a swamp monster.
Yeah,
so
and it's behind him too, which I thought that was very interesting. That even though he is bringing joy, he can't enjoy it himself. I thought that was really good, dude.
Pabone,
Oh, thank you, man.
what do you think the most popular piece of T-shirt art is in general? Now, this is a hard question, but like
Misfit shirt.
Well, I was
Misfits.
going to say that.
Okay, okay.
Is that what you're trying
yes,
to? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Like I'm
Dude,
going.
that's going to be
Or
hard.
Rolling Stone.
I'm going custom art.
That's going to be hard.
Like now band art that,
Ooh.
but like beside band, like there's like the Big Johnson craze, right? That was some custom
Andy
cartoon-
Warhol images.
You know what? I think I know it. I bet you it is the classic "I Love New York" shirt.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good choice. That or the smiley face.
Oh yeah, I remember. Have a nice day. The Have a nice
Yeah.
day.
Oh,
Yeah.
the guy that ran up to Forrest Gump. That's what I know.
Even I had that. You know, I had a poster of that Have a Nice Day thing just to show you how different times were. I had a fluorescent pink poster of a smiley face in my room, and it said Have a Nice Day, but the smiley face had a gunshot hole through its head, and there was
Oh.
blood running down its face.
Yeah.
Spencer's Gifts?
Yes, Spencer's Gifts indeed. Trash child.
Now, I kind of put that into iconic branding because the I Love New York is more. Even though
John
it's
Lennon
art,
kind of sold that, right?
but it's more of like a brand that's sold. Like the art, I'm looking into like a stereotypical custom, like the Rolling Stones and the band art, the Misfits art, the Big Johnson art, the No Fear art, the stuff. I feel like there was a time where T-shirts, obviously because of the lack of the internet, like more everything was more popular universally.
Seth should do a line of clothing with Babone called Bro Fear. And it's all about
Yes.
maximum fear in big dudes.
What do you think it is about certain things that catch? I don't know. This is impossible. I'm asking stupid, long.
No, there's a
thing.
science
But
behind
like
what
Assault
what your eye finds pleasing. I think there's a science behind it.
So, like, why did a guy Harvey become more popular than anything else? I know a lot of it's marketing and the happenstance and right place, right time. And no, he has got like a beautiful fish art, but it's like that became. It's just why brands become popular. Like that was the back in the day Salt Life. Like if you were a Guy Harvey represented,
Well, yeah.
you like the
it
outdoors.
wasn't necessarily that you love the art. It just represented
Lifestyle.
something
Yeah.
that you're like, I like eating and catching fish, so I wear shirts that have the same ones I catch on them
I
drawn
think
by.
you nailed it, man.
Yeah, I think it's very
it's
simple.
just about what you're trying to put out there. You know, people want to be recognized for. Like I see a lot of Misfit shirts out in the world, and that's a band I love. But it's hard to strike up a conversation about the Misfits with anybody in a Misfit shirt because, seldom do they actually listen to that band. So I think it's just about what you're trying to convey.
Yeah, like they're not wearing the Misfit shirts
bizarre.
to tell you that I love listening to, to
it has
Danzig.
nothing to do with the band
I don't
anymore.
like. I was listening to them this morning. I was listening to what is it? Where Eagles Dare. It's you don't wear that shirt if you don't know who they are. You wear it to let other people know that you want to be considered a bit of a rebel or a bit of an outsider or a bit of a
Correct.
different person,
Yeah,
right?
you represent some sort of brand.
So it's a way to
association.
categorize yourself, sort of. It's like you put that on so other people see it and go like, oh, well, this guy might like Green Day occasionally.
Yeah, it's odd how that I guess for lack of a better term, like the science behind or the psychology behind those how the hell does the Misfits and probably their deal with Hot Topic and the popularity of like getting it out at a certain time.
I think you could thank Jerry Only for that, and we know him.
Yeah.
That he always made really sound and good, I think, business decisions, and it also helps that he's not. None of those guys are drunks. And I think traditionally, right out of the gate, most bands, if you're a straight edge band, you've already got a leg up on a lot of other bands because you're not going to get sloppy. And when you're not sloppy, I think sometimes you make better business decisions, which is why he has Jerry only bobbleheads and jackets and the merchandising for the Misfits is ridiculous.
So Pabone, I know that we're working on something right now,
What?
and we're planning on having some of the Pabone inspired shirt ideas available at.
Are we gonna do
Sunshine
a launch?
State.
Are we gonna do it we should call it Tom and Dan by Pabone?
yeah,
It should be like a thing.
Yeah, and
Like when you do a collaboration, like right now, the designer Coach is teaming up with the athletic brand Champion,
Really?
Yeah, and it's kind of cool. I like it. A lot of people are giving it a lot of hate, but Champion's really in right now. The kiddos love the Champion.
They do.
Oh, it's an iconic
Yeah.
brand.
When I was a kid, Champion meant you were poor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, yeah, you're a champion. You're a champion of the welfare.
So
It's terrible.
we are partnering with Sunshine State Threads, which is right next door to the West End. Paul Williams, our buddy, owns Sunshine State, and I know they've got some Tom and Dan shirts in there already, and we're going to have some Pabon-inspired Tom and Dan shirts available where you could just walk in and get them. They'll be on the rack. And I know we
Pret-a-porter, I believe that's called.
I
Ready to wear.
I loved your Unfortunate Voltron shirt. And that kind of leads me to the other question where it is everything so out there now, and there's so many people putting stuff in art and brands and like that. Like when you make an Unfortunate Voltron shirt and we sell it, does it even matter that we're referencing Voltron and like putting
You mean
the
as
image
far as, like people coming after us?
No, I don't think it's so small. I don't think that exists anymore, right? It's like whoever owns
It's kinda-
Transformers.
Yeah, like it's one of those things that a lot of artists worry about, especially in the comic convention scene, because we sell a lot of, they call it fan art. So it's like my take on a Star Wars or a Batman or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's one of I guess in theory, those big mega corporations could come after you for that stuff, but I don't think they view it as smart, because, something like that gets in the news that, hey, this guy who's making less than $40K a year selling, his Star Wars stuff gets sued by Disney. It's just not a good look for them.
Yeah.
So I have to assume that they just, let it fly. And all it does is spread their brand. It's just, more brand awareness. Not that they need it, but it's, I think that these big corporations just kind of look at it as free advertising at this point.
Yeah. Also, there's a certain amount of like how much money are they actually making? So it's more expensive to pay one of our attorneys $1,000 an hour to draft something or even waste their time, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I know that changing a character or whatever, a certain percentage, then it's kind of free use at that point. Like there's comedy.
There's satire. And, and then like fair use typically has to do with like audio or video, because you're going to take something that was originally not yours, and then maybe you're giving a review, so you're allowed to dabble in that. Typically, if you're going to use it to make money, they don't like that.
So, Pabon, do you have any shirt ideas that you've thought of in the past? I know that we have the Operation shirt that a lot of people like. Some of these shirts, Pabon, I can't even remember talking about it, and then when it comes out later, I'm like, don't even remember us. That's brain damage.
They're all
or
new
something.
to me.
We just do too many shows.
Yeah. That's because I'm like, I don't remember Operation.
The key is we do too many shows, and then the other part of that is that we mislabel all of them.
Yeah.
So we really just, and I said this in the, it's so funny we're talking about this. I said this in the actual notes to yesterday's video. I said, I look at all shows now as just shows. I don't look at them as a time, as a place, or anything. What I'm doing right now is what I'll be doing until I die, and it's just one big show, so just get it where you can. That's what I say.
But the ending is
sad. It involves family members not talking to each other, a bitter battle for control of some of my own, original ideas. My wife and daughter, or just they're killing my brand.
So, Pabon,
I have a running list of Tom and Dan ideas, and if you guys mention something on the show, especially you've gotten into the habit of saying my name a lot when an idea pops up.
Yeah, we just scream
Hey,
it.
it's branding. We're getting the name out.
We just scream Pabon.
Yeah.
some of it is just to bully you, I think, because I know because I know that someone's gonna say, "Hey, they were talking about you, Pabon. They said this shirt," and then you'll be overwhelmed because
It'll be the death of them.
And then you're trying to catch up, and then I want you to hate it, and then you're like, I hate doing this. Then you question being an artist at all, and you're like, my mom was right. I should have been an accountant. And then then you have some sort of reckoning, and you're like, no, I will be an artist. And then it's just a cycle over and over.
But then your hands
really
get
put a lot of thought
broken.
into this.
But then your hands get broken.
Tom's greatest dreams is to destroy other people's
No,
dreams.
your hands get broken, and then you're like, I have to do something different. So you know of a scientist that's only done this in Belgium. You fly to Belgium to tour his facility. When you get there, they put a helmet on top of your head, and you realize that you're going to be able to use a pair of robotic arms and just your thoughts to be a sculptor now, and you become the first ever mind-controlled robotic arm sculptor.
But then...
No, that's too much work. I just paint with my feet.
Paint with your feet. There's girls that do that online. I've seen that.
Hold on, Pabon. Do you think...
Can you paint with your feet?
Do you think you could draw better with your toes than I could with my hands?
Hey, every week we'll give you, tape a pen to a different one of your body parts and try to draw my face, and then we'll judge them all.
No, like, seriously, have you ever tried to draw with your toes, like putting a pencil in between your big toe, whatever, and like,
No,
if
that
we're
would
gonna
make me a
do
crazy
this,
person.
shouldn't
I
he
have
draw
tried
with
to
his
draw with
butt?
my left hand versus my right, and it's a mess. So I can't imagine it would go well.
Okay, Fairville and Megastore, we need a strap-on, and we need a jumbo Sharpie. Pabon draws with his Pabon.
Have you ever seen Mila the ass artist?
I have. Have you ever seen Picasso?
Oh, yeah.
Picasso, he paints with his and Mila the ass artist, she just all over the canvas.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
It's so bad.
And that's not art.
Because I'm like, you started with blue paint and...
Also, it's like, nobody is asking for this. Nobody.
Mila, I'm going to ask you nicely to please give me a warning if you're using red paint.
Samantha, can you look up Mila the ass artist and see if her
Don't make her do that on her computer. Use Butler's computer. Look up Mila the ass artist on Butler's computer.
See if any of her pieces are for sale. I want to buy one for the studio. And then
let's buy one, and then you try to paint just like it. Let's start selling counterfeit Mila the ass artist paintings.
Oh, man.
If you can duplicate her ass art perfectly, then we can start selling counterfeits.
I could do it with just like putting paint in my mouth and
spit it on there.
yeah, it'd be close.
Well, wait a minute, then you could just be Tommy the mouth artist.
Yeah, but not as
It's not as good.
She films what happens.
Yeah.
And then it's just, I think it's
How come we have never thought about this for a punishment for Butler?
I don't know.
To make him paint enema. You fart on that canvas.
We should start doing that. Although it's like I because the Neanderthal in them.
Yeah,
it's like
it.
Fidel Castro. You get the drippy mustache.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
It's like your tail's wet, sir.
Anyway, Samantha,
I'm seeing some interesting things here. Nothing quite yet to buy.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe, might be out of our league.
Yeah, maybe it's just about the video. And sorry, Pabon.
It's funny. There are a lot of people. There is
okay.
Pabon, maybe that's your angle. There is a lane in art where you have a very select few that paint with their own genitalia or body parts. And
what is that, Pabon?
That's
that
a
seems
mental
like
illness, I feel like.
novelty.
It's
Yeah. Dude, those people, I don't think they're successful.
And
right?
it can't be good for you, right? Like lead-based paint and you're dunking your dork in there all the time. I feel like after a while you'll go mad and kill your family, right?
No, you get the.
That's how you kill your family.
You get the
They're
good
like,
one.
why did Daniel go bad? Because he painted with lead-based paints with his penis for 20 years.
Yeah.
He went mad.
I do like
his whole blood, everything in his blood was mercury. The guy went crazy.
Yeah. I did like back in the day where you just get poisoned by
and then you'd get to do fun stuff like tear up an entire city or village.
But you'd go mad first, but you wouldn't just get cancer. You go mad before.
They wouldn't say you were a terrible person. They wouldn't say you were the worst. They wouldn't say you were a garbage man. You would do whatever you did, and they'd say he was the Mad King. That's not that bad.
But did it make him go insane? The amount of lead in his system?
Did too. For me, it would be lead and syphilis.
Yeah,
it pushed me over the edge.
Probably mainly syphilis. The lead just bad for your heart.
In this scenario, I'm a 72% syphilis. I'm feeling it.
Do people still get that syphilis?
Syphilis?
Yes.
Pabon, do you get syphilis?
I I can't speak personally to it, but I'm pretty sure syphilis is
I
a
think that's an
thing.
old man's disease. I think that's gone.
It doesn't seem like that many people get syphilis anymore.
You
right?
don't hear about syphilis anymore.
No. You know, barely. I remember herpes was real bad.
Everything has got some sort of strange possession. It's herpes,
Anyway.
syphilis.
She has moved on from
Oh.
painting
Oh, okay.
to
Oh, was she dead?
there's food products involved.
I remember the
Oh, what?
transition.
Is that the Mila de Azhard's fruit roll-ups?
Oh yeah, it would go like there's pineapple. It was a thing.
Oh no! Okay, I'm exiting out.
Pineapple.
No,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
nope. This is
Yeah,
too
yeah.
far.
Some-
No.
at some point, I'm
Cannot
like,
watch
it's not
Pineapples can,
Cannot
well, depending
do
on
that.
which way they're sitting, they can only go one direction.
Shave the spikes. Anyway, sorry, Pabon. Throw us one idea, and we'll say yay or nay.
I'm gonna throw up.
All right, let's see. And you mentioned the list and not remembering it. I don't remember half of this stuff either. There's stuff on here. I have no idea what the context is.
Okay.
So I'm just going to run through a few
All right.
things.
All right.
Oh, I got an idea.
Does it involve a pineapple?
I just needed some time. I needed 2 seconds.
Oh, just needed some time. You did it. I mean, I
did.
could hear it.
Okay, because I look at a lot of
Whoa.
plants
Oh.
on Facebook, I get a lot of plant ads. And then we got a BDM Growers and Showers group that's going big. And then I'm involved in this Facebook group called I'm High and I Like Plants.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Or something like that. It's like,
Yeah.
But it's got like 50,000 followers, or it's like
Yeah,
insanely
yeah.
huge.
Yeah, yeah.
And it seems like plants are super popular. So I feel like we need to get into some plant T-shirts. In fact, I bought a plant shirt. And
I wet my plants.
yeah,
we
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Hey,
I
what if,
love wearing it.
Okay, trees are good, right? And they give us oxygen. What if we did Planet of the Apes logo, but it's us as humans planting trees, like for Arbor Day, and it says, plant it for the apes.
Oh, yeah, that's going
It was
towards
a huge stretch.
yeah, and also, but you get the animal.
How
lover.
about this one?
Uh,
My kid's autistic. What the hell's wrong with yours?
on the back,
Yeah.
Then on the front, I'm
On
trying
the
to think,
front, it just says "Buy American." I feel like it's.
we need. Okay, I'm a snake plant. You have to look that up, Ramon, and then like a long snake plant because it's tall or whatever. And then
You're not that tall.
well, no,
really
because
not.
but in
I don't want to
comparison
be
to
a
Daniel,
fiddle. I don't want to be a fiddly fig.
And
He's gonna
Daniel-
make you the fiddly
and
fig.
Daniel's a big, wide fiddle leaf.
I knew it. I knew it.
Oh,
And so me as a
And
snake
then growers
plant,
and showers or what?
Yeah, well, just some sort of plant theme. Tom and Dan plants. You can look up some plants. There's a bunch of them. There's a
Oh, great.
split-leaf philodendron. Huh?
This
Such a
is your
terrible idea.
worst idea.
Yeah, this is the worst one.
There's a plant theme Tom and Dan shirt. I'm
But you're
telling
giving
you.
him nothing.
We
All
can
you
make
said
it
was
work. We
snake
can make it
plant.
work.
Well, I'm doing the whole thing where it's like I give you just a tiny bit. It's really nothing.
Okay.
And
as long
then
as
I give you
long as
that.
How-
Butler's in the background and he's like a marijuana plant, like, we can make it work.
How about plant tulips on D's nut?
Okay, we're good.
I got him back in.
I'll go 90s.
I knew it. Look at him. He's having a. Are you hyperventilating? He's so happy now.
Maybe Daniel's a tiny succulent, like a little
Whoa.
tiny
I know what that
stubby
is.
cactus.
Oh, stubby cat.
Yeah.
I'm just a tiny little succulent, just a little stubby cactus.
And I'm a big.
I'm a sassy little stubby cactus.
Like my face is in like a split leaf philodendron design. Is a big broad leaf.
He's not writing any of this down.
No.
Then Samantha.
Oh God.
Oh, maybe Samantha, big cactus.
Oh, man. Oh, man. I want to touch the spike so bad.
I'm sorry, Samantha.
We could have ended a long time ago.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah,
I just looked at the time.
pretty
I'm like,
long.
there's an
You're running out of
why
steam
even
over
that?
there on your plants.
unnecessary 8 minutes here.
So, yeah, we could have just made this very tight, but
I said that to my
Yeah.
wife. Yeah, I said, "Man, we could have made this very tight, but you didn't want the stitch. You didn't want the stitch. I needed the stitch. That's all I wanted. My God. Every day. She's 6 years old, no stitches.
all right, Pabon, where can people find your art again?
Oh, hey, artofericpabone.com. Got prints for sale, commissions if you need something custom. hit me up. The Valentine's Day rush is over, so I got lots of free time. Anything you need. And thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing those shirts out at Sunshine State Threads.
Yes,
buddy.
We'll announce to everybody when they're available, but we'll start coming out with some of these designs we talked about, and they'll be, you can just go buy them off the rack at Sunshine State.
I'm ordering a Mucho
Mediocre
shirt right now.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
That's going to
one,
look good on your Mucho
Go.
Mediocres. Those are not mediocres.
What
Those
happened
are
to us?
Mucho Grande.
No,
What do you call that?
Can't do that anymore. This is not
Yo
This is not-
quiero Taco Bell.
2014. Oh, we hung up on.
Yeah, I did.
I feel like in 2014, which
That
seems
was
not
the
that
sweet
long
spot.
ago.
It was the sweet spot.
You can still do all that, but now, no.
Yeah. It was like right about the time that all men started getting traditional old school haircuts. That was the sweet spot.
Yeah.
When all men went a little,
That was when I got
Yeah,
from
everybody
Stooge.
everybody was like, "Wow, your haircut is so proper." You know, I haven't seen a haircut like that since the Nazis. And it was like, and there was like
Yeah,
a split second
Nazi
where
youth.
everybody had a really sharp haircut, and then there was it was like we had reached nirvana, and then now it's all back to normal. Good, it's good now, better.
All right. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler's here. And my pet bird, Javier, is here. And I let him loose once a week. I get the ability to socialize my bird, and I bring him to the studio, and I release him. And Javier just kind of has his way with our studio.
So if you're a BDM and you're listening to this and you haven't got the word, the email. or
Bird is the
Facebook,
word.
Our Tom and Dan Land Cruise event that's coming up in April. Tickets for pre-sale for BDMs only went on sale today.
Check your emails.
So check your email,
Yes.
go on the BDM only Facebook page or some of the subgroups. We try to litter it everywhere. But you guys can find the promo code that you need to buy early tickets. And regular tickets go on sale on Friday. And all the information is on tomanddanlandcruise.com. I won't go into all the specifics.
Surprised that URL was available.
Yeah. We got a ridiculous event, and I think it's going to be maybe one of our best events just from the lineup alone. You know what I'm saying?
It will either be the best or the worst, and if it's not either of those, right in the middle. That's
Mediocre.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we promise. Best, worst, or something in
the
between
middle.
there.
I like to let people decide because we live in a time where you can decide pretty much anything you want. There isn't anything you can't be. There's not anything that you can actually be your authentic self in this way that we live. So you take this event any way you want it, just as long as you're there. That's what I'm saying. You want to do a weird job?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, buddy. It is Weird Job Wednesday time starting now. Let's see if I finally got it right. You do realize I've yet to do this correctly since we changed the computers. Here we go. Up.
Yes!
Yeah.
Knew I couldn't do it. Well, I got nothing on this one. Then.
Okay, that's fine.
It's completely broken.
We're gonna
Do it
all-
live.
Do an old Weird Job song?
I,
Is in there?
I got nothing.
Okay.
It's failed. So, ladies and gentlemen, for Weird Job Wednesday, this is our good friend Jay.
How you
How's it
doing,
going, guys?
How you doing, Jay?
Doing all right. How about you guys?
Good. Now, Jay has been a BDM.
I'm very angry right now.
No, I can tell. It's fine.
I broke everything.
No, it's always my fault. But
And Jay has been involved in some past events. One which was our 90s 9-year anniversary event,
Yeah.
where Jay was the ring announcer, because Jay is a part-time ring announcer, and that's what we're going to talk about today, because you got an event coming up, right, Jay?
Yep, I do. It's this coming Saturday, the 27th. Undisputed Promotions. Professional boxing. It's going to be at the Caribe Royale Resort. It's on World Drive in Orlando. Really beautiful ballroom. Awesome place to see live professional boxing. We got some pro debuts coming up. Isaiah Descent making his pro debut. A lot of local fighters will be on this show as well. Giovanni Estella, Danny Suarez, Joshua LeBron. Those are three of the local fighters that are real talented fighters. They're all, I believe, undefeated, either 1 or 2-0. They just starting out their careers, real young kids. We've also got Armani El Mastica. He's actually going to be on the Puerto Rican Olympic team in the Olympics this year if they happen. Of course, he'll be taking on Jose Ceja. And then one of the most popular established guys we've got on the card is going to be Carlos Vidal. He's 16-0 with 15 knockouts. So depending on who he's going up against, it could be a quick one. So that one's going to be at the Caribe Royal Resort in Orlando.
You lit a fuse a little bit. I kind of want to see this. This sounds kind of fun, man. Boxing, I will say that I do not know much about boxing, but when it's on, I watch. Yeah. If I'm going through the channels, if ESPN were smart enough to just have let's just say, we live in a time, and I always thought as a kid with XM Series satellite radio, with radio stations, that eventually we'd get to a time where, even as a child in the 80s, I thought that we would have a channel dedicated to everything at some point, right?
Yeah.
Why is there no free, always available, maybe there is, boxing channel that just rotates good boxing matches at all times? Because I think I would watch that.
I think HBO had something, or because...
Well, where is it now?
I don't know.
Jay, where is it now?
My pop-up used to watch boxing and westerns. That's it. Nothing else.
YouTube
oh, my
channel.
God. You stole it out of my mouth. I was going to go to westerns next.
But, by the way, he never cared about news. His unstereotypical old man never watched news. Boxing, westerns.
How long did he
Hated
live?
the news.
How long did he live?
Yeah. 90 years old.
Might be something to that.
Well,
Avoid the news.
Back in the day, every Saturday afternoon on ABC, there was Wide World of Sports.
Yes.
There was professional bowling and then boxing, usually heavyweight fights every single Saturday. I remember growing up watching that with my dad almost every single week.
There's a lot of these sports now. Man, Jay, you're nailing all of the little things for me to jump onto next. I was saving this for another time, but Tom, you can clown me, but I'm absolutely addicted. My latest video game is not Cyberpunk 2077. It's not Assassin's Creed. It is PBA, officially licensed Xbox Online Bowling. And it is amazing because, Jay, I can put on any music I want in the background. I can customize my bowler. I get sponsorships from the real sponsors. I'm going up against the real bowlers, and I'm playing. It's awesome.
Yeah, you're going to go against Pete Weber. You're going to go Jason Belmonte. All these guys. I had that exact same game on my phone.
Yeah,
and
Kyle Troop's got
the guy with the mohawk.
Yeah, the guy. Well, he has a big afro. Yeah. Kyle Troop. He's amazing. But anyway, we're here to talk about boxing and your event.
Well,
how does one wander into the boxing
ring announcer
world?
Well, this is what I wanted to talk to Jay about because of course I told Jay, he's like, hey, I got this event I want to promote. I'm like, let's do a Weird Job Wednesday because I got a lot to discuss with you about ring announcing, right? Because for a long time on this show, I've been bitching about Michael Buffer and the fact that he's made how much. Let's look up his net worth again because this is the most.
I've got to guess 20 mil. That's my guess on his net worth.
What are
easily.
you?
I think it's.
Hold on, are you joking?
I think it's way
Jay,
more than that, Jay.
How are you a ring announcer and don't know the absurd amount of money that Michael Buffer? Bruce Buffer's his brother, or Bruce Buffer?
Yeah.
Oh, Bruce is worth probably 10 himself.
Bruce is Michael's the more famous one, right? He's the OG,
so. Yeah,
and then Bruce
Michael's
is the MMA, right?
How much do you think his net worth is?
We've looked this up. I know, but Jay guessed 20 million. That's absurd, Jay. That's so little. You think that wouldn't make me as angry?
Yeah,
Samantha?
You're low, Jay.
Oh,
400 million. 400.
Michael Buffer is worth 400
Jay
million.
looks really sad right now.
So this has always been my argument.
Trademarked as saying Bruce Buffer worth 10 million.
Yes. So Michael,
That's fine.
Michael Buffer trademarked "Let's Get Ready to Rumble,"
Yes.
and then got paid gigantic money during the height of boxing to say that in these huge boxing events, the Mike Tyson, the Evander Holyfield, these gigantic pay-per-view events. And they would have to pay him because he was the guy that everybody expected to be the ring announcer.
Were you
But
ever
it was
a
too
mark?
much.
Were you ever a mark for the Mills Lane? Like, let's get it on. That one. I liked a little "Let's get it on" better than "Let's get ready to rumble."
My argument.
Plus, he looked like Popeye, which I thought was a cool thing.
So, and Jay, you could weigh in on this. I mean, I'm interested to hear your opinion because you're an actual ring announcer, so you may be sticking up for Michael Buffer. But my argument was his price got to such a point where you're paying this guy $10 million or whatever. Like, you could probably look up his highest paid event, but I think one of his events, like the biggest pay-per-view in the 90s or something, he got paid like some absurd amount of millions of dollars.
What's an absurd amount? Double millions?
No, but anything over 6 figures to me is absurd.
I
to
think
get
a
in there,
million is absurd.
yeah, to get in there and just announce 2 boxers and say, let's get ready to rumble. That's it. That's
But
all you got.
now let me- hold
How
on.
much is that adding to the event?
Let me calm you a little bit, and then I'm gonna
Damn, Tom, my God, I'm the one that should be mad, not you.
Jay, I'm gonna calm Tom, and then I'm gonna dovetail directly into you. Now, Jay and I had a similar discussion when he was doing our event, our 90s event, our 9-year event downtown, right?
Yeah.
And when he was working the event, though, one of the things that I noticed, and I would like to factor this in for a Michael or Bruce Buffer, is that Jay took it extremely seriously, and it was up to him to go around to each of our talent, our entertainment, our wrestlers, and find out origin story, do's, don'ts, what they're comfortable with, that kind of stuff. It was a decent amount of work, and nice that I didn't have to do anything.
Okay, yeah.
But hold on. You look like you're about to punch me in the face. My point is, I don't think that Bruce and Michael Buffer work as hard as Jay. That's my point.
Well,
Jay was working his ass off for us for nothing.
But even if they did, and part of that job and that pay was making sure the pronunciation of all the fighters
I think
was
he
right,
has a guy that writes that for him.
or maybe double checking so he doesn't.
Jay was
make
a
sure.
one-man announcing machine.
All I'm saying is that everybody who bought that pay-per-view event, if they didn't have Michael Buffer saying, let's get ready to rumble, how much would they be disappointed that they didn't get their money's worth? My argument is it's got to be less than $1 million worth of disappointment. I feel like any standard announcer could have done that, and maybe they didn't say, let's get ready to rumble. They just said, let's start the fight or whatever. It's like, how much worse? It could have,
I'm still in that.
It's how much worse could it be, really? Like if someone just a well-spoken announcer, which I assume is a dynamo.
You should could jump in there and just turn.
Daniel could do it.
Let's get out of here.
If Daniel did it instead of Michael Buffer, I'm saying your overall experience would be maybe a fraction less, but basically the exact same, as long as he didn't F up the actual fighters' names and got everything.
Okay.
What
say you, Jay?
Yeah, what do you think? Like this talent, do you think it's worth that much?
This is going to be a bold statement, in my opinion, but I think Michael Buffer is a talentless hack.
All right.
Hot take.
You went the way I didn't think you would go that direction. My God, I totally got. You got me.
Because I will give
it's jealousy, a 150% jealousy in a way. I'm not going to BS anybody about that. But now going back to Tom's thing with, is it worth it? When you've got a multi-billion-dollar production company for boxing, say a Top Rank Boxing or Don King Promotions.
Sure.
Back in the 90s when Don King was the end-all, be-all for everything boxing. It's worth that million and a half to bring Buffer in because it's a prestige thing. So you bring in Michael Buffer, that makes it gives legitimacy to your entire production. He's not just doing the main event, he's doing the whole card. Maybe 10 fights. I mean, so it's $100,000 a fight. That's impressive. But at the same time, it's really more of a prestige thing for the promotion. It's almost not even for the fans at that point, in my opinion.
Okay, so it's kind of like a flaunt of like, hey, we paid Michael Buffer an insane amount to do this, and it's kind of like putting diamonds on your brand new Rolex.
On the
like
bezel,
you're like, I'm changed. Like he's like, I have so much money, I'm ruining this watch basically by putting expensive diamonds.
Okay, to put it in perspective with what Jay's saying, is there anything that we've ever added on to one of our events that wasn't something that was necessary for our listeners or our BDM subscribers, but you added it on as sort of a, quote, Michael Buffer of the event?
Not to that, because the Michael Buffer, and I think
it's an absorbent amount of money, man.
So much. All I was saying is basically like, I think you could find a pro ring announcer and pay him $10,000 a fight and get the same quality.
Okay, well, let's jump off of money.
But I see what you're saying, Jay.
Let's get off of money for just a second. Like Tom and I have announced things before. We've hosted things before, but not horrible. But yeah, it is horrible. But nothing like what you do. How does one go about, I guess, breaking into it, and how do you practice doing it? Because it's one of those things that when you're practicing it, if other people hear you, you do sound sort of like a weirdo because it is so rare and it's a very unique thing to do, right?
Well, I broke into the wrestling business. I started doing wrestling when I was 17. I'm almost 45 now, so 28 years I've been in the business.
Wow.
It's and it just I happen to know somebody who knew somebody, and that's really how you get into the wrestling business most of the time. Not at a wrestler capacity.
Sure.
The wrestlers can go to school to learn how to wrestle. There's no ring announcer school. That pretty much isn't in. I mean, I went to college for communications, but I was still in high school when I first started ring announcing. So I was 17 doing indie shows up in New Hampshire in front of 100, 200 people.
That's cool, though.
Did that for a long, long time. And then I got hooked up with an MMA company, I think in 2002 up in Massachusetts. And that was the first quote unquote legitimate sport that I had been a ring announcer for. Did that for a while, then moved down to Florida in 2006 and did more crappy wrestling in parking lots of bars in front of 18 people where the ring breaks. And it's just terrible stuff, like stuff out here in Lake County.
Yeah,
So
I bet you've seen some stuff. I mean,
Do you question why you're even announcing the fight?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I have quit in my head. I've quit 20 times.
I like that.
Then I get an email. Hey, you available this Saturday to announce a show? I'm like, yeah.
pull you back in. What is the strangest? Have you seen? Like, give me something strange that maybe you've seen in your, in your more grittier wrestling announcing days.
Well, besides me wrestling the same night that I actually ring announced.
Oh, that's okay. Tell me about that.
It was 2005. I was working for WFA for a good friend of mine, Steve Bradley. And I told him, hey, I'm moving to Florida. And he goes, well, we need to explain why you're going to be gone because I've been the ring announcer for 3.5 years for this one company. So we had another kid named George who filled in when I wasn't there. So they had to explain why I was leaving. So we had a loser leaves town street fight.
I love it.
I got put through a table.
Yeah.
Hit with a cookie sheet, broke a crutch over the other kid's back. It was the worst match in the history of the business.
Also,
But you got to do it.
do the cookie sheet before the table because then, like, once you do the table, then you go do the cookie
Yeah,
sheet. It's
step
like,
down.
I always get the order
Cookie
mixed
sheet.
up. It's like
who has a cookie sheet?
kendo stick, which, by the way, is nothing but a wire whisk that somebody put a rubber band around the top of it so you can hit somebody's back and it makes a loud noise.
Who brought the cookie sheet to this fight? Who?
Well, that's a wrestling weapon that's always been used.
I know, Jay. I'm making a joke,
Where
Jay.
did the crutch come from?
You
Get
want
the
to kill
picture.
the guy, but you don't want to kill him like with a gun. You want to use like weird things like cookie sheets and crutches and kendo
And it doesn't
sticks.
hurt at all. The cookie sheet just bends over your head and you don't even feel it.
It looks
Jay,
cool.
so in the ring announcer world, okay, because everybody that I've heard seems to have adopted kind of the Michael Buffer style, and maybe he just stole that from ring announcers beforehand. Like, I don't know if you know the history of ring announcers, but did they always have that long sing-songy way of announcing? Yeah. Like standing at 162 pounds, like that whole long
Right.
sing-song. Is that a style that everybody does, or does every ring announcer have their little specific styles?
And in this corner, weighing 185 pounds in the red corner, Thomas Oral B. Van.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
How does that work?
Your nickname is Oral B.
It all depends on really who your influences were. If you've got, like, my influence, Dan will know exactly who this is Howard Finkel.
Finkel's the
Rest
best.
in peace. My hero, my idol is
Ray
Howard
Finkel, the kicker from Ace Ventura?
No, Psychoville.
No, I everything that I did when I first started was basically based off of his inflections, based off of how he announced things, when a title would change and knew that whole thing. I based all of my inflections and things like that off of the Fink, 100%. I don't do the super long, drawn out Michael Buffer, draw out every single syllable. It all depends on the name, how many syllables there are in the name. If it's a single syllable last name, you can either just hit it hard.
Do you do the double last name where you do you go Thomas Spicy Chicken Nuggets Van.
Yeah, the double.
I like the
I thought about that. I thought about it, but I never really adopted it. I was like, it's kind of hokey, old timey stuff.
I kind of like the classic stuff. You know, I also, you know what's weird is I used to not like the microphone coming to the ceiling.
Oh, it's my dream.
When I would see it, I'd be like, "Who the hell do you think you are?" Seriously, look at this mother.
Yeah, you get a microphone just lowered down from the ceiling,
and Jesus brings your mic to you.
Yeah, they use wireless mic.
Go look at old Madison Square Garden WWF shows from the early '80s. That big double microphone with a 3-foot wide MXG on it would fall from the ceiling, and Howard Finkel would grab it and announce Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Finkel, man, I haven't heard that name in forever. So how do you're in it, you're doing it, you're working your way up. I mean, obviously, it's like anything else. It's time spent. You know, pay your dues, get your reps in.
How does a ring announcer actually get his big break? Is that even exist, or do they just use the standard forever?
It's just getting seen. You do as many shows, you do as many quality shows as you can, because you got to look at quality over quantity. I could do every single wrestling show in Florida, but they're all just flea market garbage. I mean, it's all terrible. That's why I really kind of pulled back from doing wrestling, because it's mostly terrible down here. There are some pretty good shows that are around, and I've worked for some pretty good companies down here.
But the flea market garbage is so fun to look at.
I love
it. Like
that's
where the entertainment's at. Is the no one's there, the no one's getting paid.
And performing with a horrible toothache, it's Dondi, the elephant.
Anyway, Jay, how can people see you this week? Because we got to go.
Yeah.
And
how much money can you make? The answer's zero. Right?
Yeah. What's their biggest payday?
I do get paid. I get paid. I've actually been flown to Memphis for a show.
Memphis.
How dare you?
Yeah, big time, huh? Memphis.
We're going to fly you to
Was
Memphis.
rough.
Coach.
I got to meet Jerry the King Lawler, though, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, Jerry the King.
He was at the show.
I love Jerry the King, but I liked him when he was all about the puppies and Kat, his ex-wife, who left him, gutted him.
We don't talk about
it. They gutted the King.
Florida trash.
Don't talk about it.
Florida trash. I'm sorry, wrestling. It's all Florida trash.
I mean, you flew to Memphis to meet a man who has a tanning bed and still wears a crown at 70.
Yeah, and it was a terrible restaurant on Beale Street, too. But no, it was a pro boxing event. They flew me up for it. It was a horrible, awful experience. The promoter was a swindler and a pile of crap. Took me a month to get paid. It was fun. That was the last time I do that.
This is like one of my favorite Weird Up Wednesdays.
It's all swindlers and wrestling.
He sounds like us. It sounds like a lot like podcasting.
Yeah. You know what, Jay? You picked the worst possible job. I'm going to announce events filled with trash.
I know what these trash people need. Somebody to yell what they're doing.
Fine. I'm into legitimate sports now.
I'm sorry.
And boxing. But this Saturday will be the exact opposite of what I have been describing. It's at the Caribe Royale Resort in Orlando, right there on World Drive. It's Undisputed Promotions.
That's awesome.
Like I said, a lot of great local fighters will be on this. A lot of nationally recognized fighters, guys you've seen on ESPN.
And a lot of pro debuts, you said, right? Like a lot of guys making their debut.
Exactly. It's a great place. It's Undisputed Promotion. Anthony Arvello Jr. is an unbelievable promoter. He does a fantastic job. These shows are super professional. They look fantastic. And if you can't make it out there, it'll be available on the Fight app. That's FITE. And you go on the Fight app. It's going to be $19.99. You can watch it. You can see my pretty face on there.
Oh, that's cool.
And you can check it out right there in the comfort of your own home. Tickets are still available for the event. It will be pretty packed, and it will most likely sell out like the last one did. And just go ahead and Google Undisputed Promotions tickets. Eventite.com is going to be the ticket purchasing website. Get your tickets right there. They start at $40. It's an awesome night of fights, and love if you guys came on out.
Cool. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate it. And we'll always be bonded by Blood Dog. That's a different story for a different day.
Don't talk about it another time.
We'll talk to you later, Jay.
See you, man.
Thanks, guys. Love you.
Yeah, be good, buddy. Love you, too. That is our buddy Jay, live from appears outside of a school. He's ready to shoot it up crazy.
The improv.
I don't know what's happening. He looked like a stereotypical brick school. He's at the first schoolhouse in America.
Bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha and Butler are here, and we have a very special guest who dropped by.
Yep, justcallmo.com. We've got Mo DeWitt here in studio. How you doing, Mo?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
Good, good.
Not bad.
So, Mo, I've been meaning to talk to you about your Facebook videos and where you get some of the props because there was one of you dressed like Justin Timberlake.
That's your favorite.
And I thought to myself, I laughed because I thought it was a good idea and it'd get attention, and a lot of people were commenting. But then I thought, where do you get a Justin Timberlake
denim suit?
Yeah, because it was exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it was beautiful.
It was like the costume he wore or whatever. And I was like, where do you find that?
I mean, you don't have one of those?
I don't even know where to, like, do I type in Justin Timberlake's costume from this music video?
Well, I wouldn't write all of that. That's a lot. I mean, you could type in. My wife does that too. Whenever she's searching something on Google, she'll be like, "Directions to PDQ Colonial Drive," and I'm like, "No, just type PDQ Orlando." What are you doing?
She's going for the long tail search.
Well, because I wondered. Then I started to think,
whoa, I can get the Britney denim dress for $300 on Etsy right now.
All right.
Is this something?
Maybe on something, Sam.
That people
right.
like do aftermarket, like fans or whatever, Etsy, where someone finds a way to make their costume from a famous music
Are
video.
you asking if this is allowed? Because
no, I'm just asking if, like,
where do you go?
Yeah, if it's like a designer, like, name brand thing that he's wearing, then obviously you could just buy it off from whatever site or company that makes it. But then a lot of these people, these performers, have custom stuff that they literally make one-offs of.
Well, they partner with big designers, and a lot of times they work hand in hand.
And so, what is it, Mo?
I mean, I'm sure when Justin had it done, it was some designer or something like that. But I mean, Sam just found it. It was Etsy, and the person makes. They make the Britney dress and the Justin dress, and I think they custom make it.
Yeah.
I mean, they
to your dimensions.
Yeah.
Google's great.
Okay,
try it out.
Well, then we have our land cruise coming up,
Yeah.
and my dream, and I'm serious about this, is to have an authentic Good Ship Lollipop Shirley Temple costume to wear.
I bet you can find it.
I think we can find it.
I want the wig with the ringlets,
Uh-huh.
and I want to have the dress that I wear and the little hat, and I want to wear, I want to hold a novelty jumbo lollipop. I think people would come out for that.
Can you go to Etsy and just request to your dimensions?
Mr. Etsy.
Yes.
I don't know.
There's
where
different shops on Etsy. There's different sellers on Etsy.
And
I mean, this person did tell me, they put a little note when they shipped me the Justin outfit or whatever you want to call it, and they said, I can make anything. If you need anything else, let me know. So I think...
Really? All right.
Nice.
I can make anything.
And so...
Can you make a fleshlight my wife can't find? Make that.
or that doesn't get mildew dots.
Yeah,
That
or
happened to
stinky.
mine.
Yeah. I mean...
And I think you're not supposed to put the plastic back on as if you're trying to hide the fact
Not when
that...
it's moist.
Oh,
You at least
man.
want to sun dry it first.
you can't
So
put it outside.
there is a shop on Etsy called Roleplay Couture, and they have all kinds of different celebrity
it's
outfits.
pronounced Randy Couture, and he's an MMA fighter, you idiot. You're so stupid.
Apologies.
And then what does it cost there? Like if you
Depends
want
what you want.
Like if I want an Eddie Murphy raw.
Yes, red leather,
Red leather.
complete with kufi and blackface.
No, not that
That'll
part, no.
get people out to Dr. Phillips.
I'm just saying, like an Eddie Murphy leather suit. What do you
Coming
think?
to America outfit.
Yeah, like that's gonna be like $1,000,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like $1,000.
That would be good, though.
Yeah.
You don't have to do leather though. You could do vinyl.
And what?
I can get it to you for $80 right now.
Really?
There you go.
Wow. Now,
80 Murphy.
Mo, we've talked about this before, and you know the legal side of things.
Does
so,
he? I don't know.
I play a lawyer on Facebook.
So, like,
I also want to talk about there's another lawyer in town now that's biting off of Mo's style.
I noticed that. Yeah.
He's starting to try and do these videos, not as good.
Yeah,
oh, really?
Well, he doesn't have
Oh.
bus decker. I mean,
Yeah.
That's right.
That's true. That's true. Get on the bus.
I think lawyers are like NFL coaches. They just all steal from each
Yeah.
other their plays, and then
That's a bumper sticker, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway, with copyright laws and things like that.
And we do have some questions from our Twitch chat room that
cool.
we'll get to after we ask yours.
So copyright laws. So with these one-off things and these small things, because you see it all the time where you're like, well, that's got to be copyright infringement or whatever, like on Etsy or is it?
Even like beer can labels now. A lot of the breweries are getting in trouble for stealing art and putting it on their beer cans.
Yes, I have heard of that.
But it's novelty.
But if it's
satire.
If it's so small, is it one of these things where most companies just look beyond it, or it's impossible to even catch because the internet is filled with the millions of stuff and it's impossible? It's just too much.
So, I mean, I think it's actually the opposite, because if they don't try to enforce their trademark or their copyright, they can actually, there's an argument they can waive it. So they actually have to have these divisions that kind of go out there and send these cease and desist letters all the time, so that it doesn't become kind of in the public nomenclature, because it's just now out there and no one's ever enforced it.
Okay, so literally, if you don't enforce it, then it could actually be a thing where a judge is like, well, you didn't enforce it, so now it's a public use?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, and you've seen like some terms like Xerox, kind of is interchangeable for copy, or Kleenex for facial tissue.
White Claw's become one of those.
Yeah, for hard seltzer, like, oh, you could give me a White Claw for every hard seltzer.
Right.
Yeah. That's actually a benefit, though, the White Claw, right?
Tom and Dan. Put on some Tom and Dan for podcasts. I hear that all the time. You're like, Tom and Dan. No. But you mean podcast?
Yeah. I think Rogan got that one. Right?
We don't have anything like that.
Marin. Anyway, interesting. And then most times they just send you a cease and desist.
And then you usually, most people comply because they don't want to fight it. I mean, I had one with IKEA actually a long time ago, where they were trying to tell this guy he couldn't use the color blue.
Wow. They own the color blue?
They tried to make the argument, because the guy, he was in a similar field with a kitchen cabinet installation, and they wore blue shirts, and IKEA did not like that. And they sent him a cease and desist letter, and we had to go back and forth with some high-powered attorney in New York who was like, threatening him left and right. And
Those Swedes,
eventually they backed down. But
the Swedes will get you.
Yeah, they will.
All for that poang money. You have a poang? Everyone has a poang.
What is that?
Raise your hand if you know what a poang is. It's the signature steam-made chair from IKEA.
the little thing.
The one where they bend the wood with the steam, and it's very, fancy looking, made fresh out of Stockholm.
It's the one that's in the case, and it has a robot smushing it.
Yeah.
It's like, look how good this robot's been smushing it for 10 years.
This robot's butt's been smushing this chair for 25 years. You fat slobs can't be worse than him.
So, Mo, you always urge everybody to call you if they've been in an accident. And I thought to myself, is there any time where it's too soon to call you? Like, literally.
Well, before the accident.
You gotta wait.
What if I
I'm
call
about
you?
to slip and fall.
What if I call you and I'm like, I'm going to get in an accident?
Have you
It's
ever
happening.
had anybody get in an accident while they're talking to you? That'd be cool, right?
Not that I
be
can
cool.
think of, but
Man, what are
But
the
what
odds?
if like their car's still smoking, their airbag just went off, their people are still screaming, and they're like,
My face is still melting.
I mean, I've had people call from the accident scene all the time, because it usually takes like 4 hours for Florida Highway Patrol to get there.
Oh, yeah.
Take
Or-
that, Florida Highway Patrol.
Or whoever
Slow.
it is. But yeah, they'll just be sitting there. They'll go, "Oh, you better do something." So just call Mo.
When I get rear-ended,
Whoa! Mark that. No. We're going to have a great best of reel this Christmas party.
do I immediately jump out of my car and then scream to the person that rear-ended me, "Stay right there! Scene of the crime! Scene of the crime!"
Do
and
not
then,
flee.
and then start directing
Taser.
directing traffic around and blocking up.
Then you got to yell,
Taser out.
Colonial.
Taser out. Taser out.
all my doors open. Or
You
should
got
I
to put out a flare.
oh, yeah,
Okay, the
5
first thing,
flares.
let's talk about what you do. Okay, you
shoot
just,
a flare. I got a gun.
Okay.
Flare gun.
You just had an accident. Let's go through the proper steps, because we can actually do some good here for
Okay.
our listeners.
Yeah,
You get in an accident.
Mark this down for the public safety
Write this down,
file.
Sam. First thing you do, you get out of your trunk screaming as loud as you can. You want to make yourself available. You want to make yourself as big. It's like a bear.
Yeah, like a bear's like-
Make yourself as large as humanly possible. So you want to extend your arms and extend your legs.
Then you go running towards the person,
person.
that ran into you, right?
Screaming,
bear-like fashion,
loud,
right?
and acting like a bear.
Yeah, that will scare them into submission.
Then they'll get in their car, then run back to your car, and then get what appears to be a gun, but it's a flare gun, like Tom said. Shoot it into the air. That'll call Mo.
like the bat signal. What if you had like some sort of custom firework flare?
Move.
Just keep shooting them.
Pyro spot should be able to
He'll
get
get
someone
there. He
else.
must be at the potty. Move.
I'm sorry, Mo.
So glad I stopped by.
I feel like this is your fault, actually, because, you know. So, what are some of the actual questions that Twitch has?
All right.
Scroll a little
I'm going to
bit.
scroll back up to, because our listeners are far better at this than we are. Here is a question for Mo from Mommy Cray Cray. My husband wants to quit his job with a marketing company and go back into business working for himself. Same line of work. He signed a non-compete when he was hired. What are the legal ramifications of him doing this? What should he do legally to protect himself or us? He wants to quit because of poor management. That's a great question. Thank you, Craig.
It is. I mean, it's going to depend on the terms of the non-compete, but usually they have to be reasonable. There has to be a set period of time, usually a geographic region in them. So they can't just bar you forever from working in the field anywhere in the U.S.
Because we have non-competes here at T&D Media, and ours say you can never have a job again after this one. So no matter
have to be homeless.
For life.
Actually,
For life.
it says at the bottom.
And you have to leave us everything in your will to us.
It also says you'll never work in this town again.
Oh, yeah, right.
Which is why someone went back to the U.K. but-
That's what we. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. You know the truth.
This guy
You had to
must-
be told.
But he
Listen to
did
the show.
compete. He did compete.
We wrote UK in there, but we were like, there's probably legally nothing we can do.
Yeah, international.
We put world.
Everyone was like UK. I was like, where's that?
And we put space, too, just in case.
Just in case.
Travel off the Earth.
I mean,
Like, you
technically,
can't
right
work
now,
anywhere.
even Samantha, by doing her shows, I don't know, it's shaky ground.
Yeah, we can sue it any
Yeah,
time.
I don't know. I don't know what the legalities of that.
So every non-compete is different, right, Mo? It's like some are regional and some are based on the sales position. But there are we had to deal with this actually one time, but we may have had a similar conversation.
What happened?
Where there is some sort of, like when you mentioned being reasonable, like the judge has to deem the non-compete reasonable, and usually they side on the actual the side of the person, not the company, when it comes to like having the person make a living or whatever. Like,
Right. I mean, there can be a period of like 6 months or a year, but it can't be like forever, like I said. And then also you have to be able to move geographic regions, because you wouldn't really be able to compete, or you wouldn't be competing with that person
If you're not in the market.
If you're not in the market,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and obviously it depends on the industry, whether it's television or radio or something else.
and I bet the internet has gummed that up a lot too, because like you have a business on the internet, all of a sudden it's like, well, it's worldwide,
everywhere, yeah.
everywhere. It's like
I get orders from every place
So it's
known
like,
to man.
who cares if I'm doing, like, let's say a podcast in Alaska? Yeah, it's 3,000 miles away from my non-compete, but it's literally up the same time, available for download anywhere in the world. So technically, it's the same thing if I did it in Orlando.
Right.
That may have been an argument I had one time to Mo 9 years ago.
Maybe I paid to have our servers switched to Atlanta. I don't know. They're,
Just because technicality, we're like,
things
it's
happen.
Atlanta.
I mean, the availability came up to have our servers based out of Atlanta. Why would I do that? I don't know.
The magic comes out of the machines in Atlanta.
Now, if you're guessing that my answer when asked would be that I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, you are correct. That's the only excuse I could think of.
So, and that all gets probably decided by like case law, because there's things that have never been even decided because of technological advancement and stuff like that, where it's up to actual cases to determine where people go from there.
Yeah, I mean, someone has to bring a lawsuit. There'll be a case-by-case basis of a decision. And obviously with more stuff over the internet, then, you get different cases that kind of talk about that stuff, and then you use that for further contracts and negotiations.
Here's an interesting one that I've never heard of. It's actually happening sort of kind of to me right now. I live in a townhome, but I believe this person, here. I do have a question. Landlord-tenant law. They've been making constant non-structural improvements to my building with little to no notice. Entry to unit with very little notice. Does this violate their duty to deliver quiet enjoyment? And if so, what is my recourse?
So
Is this person is this a chain letter? I feel like
Just let them do the roofing. Like, what are you going to be?
You're always this guy, though.
the
You
Karen
never complain.
complaining like this.
You never complain.
It says quiet enjoyment in my contract. I am not getting quiet enjoyment. Like,
No, but remember-
let him do the work. It's just-
Sam, were you on the show when I went to Disney
being
out
a-
at the yacht club that time, and they were doing the drilling in the middle of the night?
I don't know.
And Tom and I disagreed, and it was every night I stayed there. I stayed there 3 nights. It was just like a little getaway.
They didn't tell you beforehand?
You want to
No.
complain
Because I
about
stayed
the
out
drilling?
at one of the resorts at Disney, and they gave us a bunch of freebie stuff because they're like, "Hey, we are doing construction to this resort," so
Yeah.
we kind of let that go.
They did nothing for me, but Tom's argument was no argument. He was like, "Nope, that's what it is. You can't say nothing. You have to just sit there, and they have to
You take
make
what's
and
given to
drill,
you.
and you were
No.
given the drilling, so you eat your white chocolate Mickey Mouse in your bed while
Man,
you
you're
can't
so
sleep,
submissive,
and you
Tom.
shut your mouth." He's like, "You cannot
No.
complain."
I just don't like
He doesn't
complaining.
like it. No.
That's
So-
All you do is complain.
I only like it to do it to
He
you
likes
guys.
it in the
And
same
the
space.
listeners.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't
don't
like to
do
complain
it
to strangers.
I don't do it to anybody that's not important in my life. I only hurt the ones I love.
That's the nicest thing you've ever said.
PDMs, I annoy them, my wife, you guys.
Okay.
But anybody that's actually harming me, I'll never complain.
So the structural changes, lots of noise, peace and quiet, or quiesce and piet.
Yes, squeeze and pie it. So typically your lease dictates when they can come in, how much notice they have to give, unless it's an emergency. So usually that's a provision of your lease. The quiet enjoyment thing is more of a case-by-case scenario. I once had a case where the neighbor to this guy's house put a pool pump in so they could practice skiing in the pool.
What do you mean? You can do that? Oh,
Apparently. And
do you still have this guy's number? I
can look it up.
want to do that.
I don't even know how you do that, but I'm intrigued.
Like a pump that was able to move the water faster, like one of those swimming pools
Yeah, exactly.
that has a current.
Yeah, it had a current, and this is what he told me, that they were water skiing. They practiced water skiing on this thing, but it vibrated his entire house, and so he brought an
This
action
is an
for
insane
nuisance
case,
against them.
Yeah, because to push that much water to get up on water skis would have to be a tremendous pump.
Of course it would vibrate your house. I mean, this thing is as big as Epcot. Like,
I mean, he sent me the pictures of it. It looked like something you'd see at SeaWorld, like behind one of the aquariums. Or
it was
something.
like a massive.
Hold on, wouldn't it be cheaper?
400-ton pump.
It'd be cheaper just live on a lake and have a boat, a ski boat. Just practice on a ski boat.
I mean, you can
even the nicest ski boat's
Dude.
$60,000.
Tom, when we were poor kids, man, we'd go to a lake and ski behind a John boat. It didn't matter. You can ski behind anything. Just how desperate are you?
But yeah. So yeah.
So, anyways, they eventually put soundproofing around it, but so it depends on how bad the noise is, and it's a subjective standard. And it's going to go on a case by case basis. If it's really bad, then you'd want to bring it up to the landlord, and they'd have to either let you out of the lease or make accommodations for you to help with the noise.
Ooh, what about if
Brock's saying he just wants to be able to deliver his Zoom presentations because this is where
He's working from home.
It comes into play. Yeah, he's working from home. He's trying to be as professional as humanly possible, but his home is an area where they're not really giving him accurate times to prepare to have a quiet space so he can
I'm sorry,
do
work.
business.
your residential property is not zoned for commercial use? No,
But we're
no
under
case.
we're COVID times.
Right,
Judge Crawford.
you're
Now
with
we're
me.
You're not
evicting
the
him.
lawyer, Tom.
Pardon me,
You know.
excuse me, Judge No Fun. My attorney Mo is here. He would like to argue on our behalf. Boy, I'd hate to get in front of you, man. Jeez Louise, grumpy ass.
Oh boy.
So what if you're renting a property, which is weird because your wife's a doctor?
Oh, you gave me
and
the wink. Are you
get
talking
paid
about
for-
the place where our... Okay.
I'm
We
just
have
saying-
a couple mistresses
I'm
that are
saying we
living
know-
above the studio.
No, let's just say you're a podcast salesman and you rent a property and you decide to put a bat house up on your property.
But it's got only frogs in it.
But you didn't ask your landlord.
Yeah, but it's attracting bats.
Yeah.
Crazy. Could you, as a neighbor, make an argument like, hey...
Well, actually, it's attracting frogs. And
right.
guess what likes to eat frogs? Coyotes.
oh, yeah,
And now
I forgot about the coyotes.
This mother
Yeah.
has, and I was going to throw the other
I
part
know
on
you
there,
were.
but I'm mad at this guy. He has over 60 to 65 coyotes that come behind his house every single
Trying to
night
eat his frogs.
and try to eat his frogs.
There's Can we get him evicted? That's all I'm asking. Is it possible?
I think, if you have that many coyotes, I'm going to assume they're pets. That seems like it's a violation of some sort of order.
Oh, he owns one coyote that he's been able to domesticate. It's a beautiful animal, but the other ones are wild.
Yeah. I bet you his coyote dog attracts the other
put
wild
the pieces
coyotes
together.
Yeah.
And he's always out there nude. We've heard this before. Butler likes to go out behind, and he's grilling in the nude. He's always got a towel on.
Oh, he's so tan.
So, Mo, what is, speaking of being nude, are you allowed to be nude on your property? But what if you have like a small fence or a chain link fence?
Or what if you are at a townhouse and you're just sitting up on your balcony with no coverage at all?
I do that.
That happens.
Is it illegal?
They call that the 5 o'clock shadow, if you know what I mean.
If your neighbors could look out the window and see you, but you're on your own property, how does that work?
I think it's, again, whether you're actually, quote unquote, in public or not. So if you're in your backyard, but it's a chain link fence and you're walking around nude, obviously the public can see you.
Well, I don't put it through. I'm behind it. I don't do like the pornos. I'm behind it.
Yeah.
But if they have to look over a fence, or if they're kind of peering or whatever, then it probably is okay. So
what are you peering at?
The problem is if a cop comes by and they want to arrest you and they see you, they'll probably arrest you, and then you have to deal with it on the back end.
I know what that means.
Mark that. Mo's just joined our Christmas party.
What if my neighbor could see me through the slats?
Oh,
because
there was an old radio guy in town that was, hey, what's up? It's Slats. You listen to the rock station.
Because
up next, Seven Dust gonna blow the grass out of your work boots.
Sometimes when I'm in my patio, I do go into my hot tub nude, and I know my neighbor. If my neighbor's out there working out or something,
tub is so that
he's
water,
not looking at you.
but you can see me through the slats.
That water must look like ramen.
Oh man, cloudy.
Oh, God.
The roof gets flooded and it pours right into my hot tub, and then I have to cycle the dirt out.
So you get into your dirt hot tub nude.
Well, I have to cycle the dirt out, and all the leaves do that tannic thing, like it does in the St. John.
And then you soak in the tannic water.
It looks like Lipton iced tea in there,
and so you do the Nestea plunge.
But it's fine. I hold my bee tight. So nothing
gets in. I do that too.
It's watertight bee. Everybody knows how to do it. You can't loosen your bee.
You got a watertight bee, Sam? I'm not going to ask our guest because I know Tom's proud on that.
I'm sorry.
I'll discuss some sexual harassment stuff with Mo after.
This is not sexual. I'm not. Nobody said. You know what? You just made it sexual. You said sexual. She flipped it on me. I said nothing sexual. I said watertight bee. She said sexual.
I'm glad you brought that up because
cancel culture. Cancel her.
I was told, Mo. How true is this? That I was told when I first started radio as an intern by, I think, some program director, maybe Catherine Brown or someone.
Oh, blame it on her. She doesn't work there anymore. That's not fair.
But she told me, as long as you say it on the air, then that's get out of jail free card. Nothing, everything you can say on the air is fine.
It's entertainment.
But because it's entertainment and it can be.
I'm going home to yell at my wife.
Thrown out in the court of law. But after, you can't say nothing in the office or off air because that can be held against you.
You can't say nothing in the office, Mo.
So how true is that, Mo? On the air?
That's an argument in court if someone brings a lawsuit, but it's not foolproof.
That
not an airtight.
Airtight. Hold on, that was last segment.
Oh boy,
that's airtight B.
Yeah. So everything we said on the show
comes back to airtight.
Can be. Oh my God,
this is bad.
It's a lot. It's a lot, Mo.
I got a lot of erasing to do.
It's so much. We can't even begin to erase
it. TikTok?
Yeah. That's something different.
I have that same. We have one that just yells Mo on it.
That's how we.
So now Mo's involved.
That's a protection.
Oh boy.
Sorry, Mo. Anyway, if you are injured on the go, just call Mo.com. And again, no matter if you get hit by a car or get in a car accident, what if it's your fault?
Just call Mo.
On the go.
Just call Mo.
On the go.
Just call Mo.com.
Need we say
Why'd you play it in front of Mo? Because I'm embarrassed by that.
I didn't mean to hit that one. I meant to hit
the good one,
the little one, and I hit
professional.
the extended remix.
What if the accident's your fault and like you're plowing into the vegetable stand, you know, the old man?
Oh,
and then
you're watching that Italian man's mustache just be ripped off of his face as you launch him, and then his avocados are flying.
You're confused, so by the time your car actually comes to a stop,
well, your wheels are still spinning while your hand is on your head.
Your foot is still on the gas pedal. Full RPMs. It's like,
I know this is going to happen to me. I know at one point I'm going to be a little old man. I'm going to look exactly the same, just whiter. And a little old man, I'm going to be sitting in like a pile of bricks around a Pizza Hut that I just drove through. And there are bodies everywhere, Bo.
But you're on top of the table, so your back wheels are still spinning.
And I'm like, whoa, I don't know what I don't. I'm so confused. Andrea!
The young teen comes running, he rips open the door, and then like rips you out of the car because they're like, "What are you doing?
You killed everybody, man!"
And then you don't know.
You killed the whole buffet.
And you're like, I don't know what's happening. And then it's sad because he doesn't even know what's happened. And he just plows.
And then some kid, he's filming me, and he's like, "World Star!"
You don't want that old man to call you, right? Like, you want the people in the Pizza Hut.
I'm like, is this Mo?
I like that was the question. All that for that
We were
question.
actually trying to wrap it up, and then Tom went
never
on his
wrap it
whole
up. Never wrap it up.
crazy
Condoms
fantasy.
suck. Never wrap it up.
That's our saying.
Oh boy! If you are at fault, you can still call me. I can give you some advice. But usually, your insurance company handles that.
Gotcha. All right, thanks, Mo. I appreciate it, and thank you again for sponsoring our event.
I don't know why.
Is he still?
We'll talk about that. Ryan Cabrera is going to be there this year.
Yeah. He is engaged.
That's right.
To Alexa Bliss.
Don't know who that is.
That was
Wrestler.
Pork
It's my daughter's favorite wrestler.
He was planning on doing another cruise.
Yes.
He was like, why'd you do, like, you didn't learn after the first one? Why? How could it be? How could he plan to do
Tell
another
me
one?
why.
Yeah,
Anyway,
don't know.
It's all right. Bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha and Butler are here. Let's jump into some of your voicemail messages. Let's see. How about this one right here? Let's try this one. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I thought it was all right.
It's so many buttons. It's turning on the TV, then I got to switch the external thing. Well, you fix one thing, then you break another thing.
Yeah.
You know how it goes. Okay, here we go. This one's about
Yo, BDM Neil here. So yeah, I'm listening to the BDM show from today, like the most recent, obviously. I'm always caught up. And you guys talking about gaming. I do those pausable walkthroughs like on sometime the God of War because I'm just playing like for the story. There are some people that are like, I need to go ultimate hardo, level highest, like death mode.
How were you when you played video games, or like when your dad went through his Zelda phase? Where did you set the level? Were you, because I had a tendency to bounce, and I still do that now as an adult. I bounce between two ways of playing. I'll either, like Neil's saying, put it on easy mode and play for the story and just have fun while I'm having a couple beers, or I'll put it on normal mode, but I never go like extreme or ultra hard or anything like that.
When I played video games, they didn't have modes. they didn't have like
who's old now, buddy?
Yeah, well, I played them when I was a kid.
Old now.
So like in high school and whatnot, and then when I did play a little bit of like that Call of Duty when you gave me the Xbox that time.
Yeah, it was the worst thing I ever did.
It was only for a week I played it.
Yeah,
and,
but it was like every waking hour for a week.
No. Listen, my wife got mad because I played it for an hour every day. You know, like
that's not that bad.
no, I know. It's anytime.
She's not a fan of video games.
Yeah. And then now I just don't. I never play it. No. I just can't get behind playing video games for whatever reason. It just
it feels like I get more out of it. Like I feel less lazy playing a video game than I do watching a movie. Like watching a movie to me feels lazy because I'm not doing anything. I'm not even really using my brain. I'm barely paying attention because
Depends
I'm so
what kind of movie you're watching.
blasted out of my mind.
Yeah. No, I definitely listen. If you're going to, everybody needs recreation. You need to do something, turn your brain off. Without it, you drive yourself crazy.
I wish I enjoyed movies though, because I get that weird anxiety feeling. Like when I'm watching a movie, I'm like, I should be doing something. That sucks. Because there's a lot of movies that my initial reaction when they come out is like, ooh, I want to see that. And I just never do it. Let's try. Oh, man. Okay, Mike B. and now Southern Kermit are two characters from the show. Mike B., you know, from the Ono radio show. He calls into our show a lot unannounced, causes pain in Samantha's ass. I believe Mike B. is now your mortal enemy, right?
It switches back and forth.
Because you now have another guy who's mad at Mike B. It's Southern Kermit has now declared war against Mike B.
You know what? I think I do a better Mike B impression than he does of me. That's all.
What do you think? Does Southern Kermit's impression of Mike B, is that better than Mike B's impression of Southern Kermit? And where are we doing the Twitch boxing match pay-per-view where Mike B fights Southern Kermit? I'm not kidding.
I do miss the...
I know you do.
Quintessential radio boxing match.
You got to box it out. It's the only way to solve it. There's no other way to solve your problem.
Did Stern start that? Like, the popularity of that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because he did some, like, huge ones between, like, Baba Booey and all the...
I watched Beetlejuice fight another little person yesterday.
Was it a Stern thing?
Yeah, and he got beat. And Beetle immediately does the move you do when you get beat, which is you run over and you hug the guy. Oh, it was so uncomfortable and awesome.
Wasn't he? I think did some of the biggest ones where it was like,
like a lot of it. We did it when we worked on the morning show. Jason Ellis has done it. Howard Stern has done it. Ron and Ron did it.
But I'm saying Howard Stern started the quintessential boxing or made it popular.
It may not have been him, but I'm just going to give him credit.
Yeah. Well, he at least did it the biggest.
Yeah,
so
he did it on the grandest scale, for sure.
So even some other wacky 90s morning show did it. It doesn't matter because...
Mike B., Southern Kermit, we can do it at OLE. Are they tear that down yet?
I think it's still there.
It's
well, we can do it anywhere because we can't have a lot of people. So all we need is a boxing ring. I'll talk to Jay.
Yes.
We had him on yesterday.
We'll
get Mike B. killed.
The novelty... radio boxing and the celebrity boxing and all that.
Don't bail on me now, buddy. I did this for you.
It's all horrible because
I did this for you, and now you're going to bail on me?
Because the reality is, it's always a giant hype up, and then you get the characters that are boxing.
Terrible. They're not boxers.
No, and they start talking ass and stuff, and then so there's all this hype, and then people are like, "Oh, who's going to win?" And then when they get there, and then they start boxing, it dawns on everybody that these people are horrible at boxing and they're out of shape and they have all of 30 seconds. In fact,
it's probably the
nerves and the adrenaline drain them in the first 5 seconds of the fight, and then the rest of the time you're watching two horribly out of shape ghouls.
Yeah,
it's barely tap each other. And they're like on the verge of vomiting.
Hey, it's a huffing puffin' ghoul
They both want to quit immediately. They both probably talked to each other before the fight and said, like, hey, let's not really punch each other. Why do that?
My boobs hurt.
But I will request a cookie sheet be involved.
Yeah, well, I mean.
It's just a...
Now, who gets the cookie sheet first? I don't know.
Has there ever been a goof boxing match that has been good? Like,
I think that's what they're attempting to
boxing?
do. Well, that's what they're attempting to do with all these like influencers that are boxing. You know, they're trying to, I think, make it a couple notches higher than, watching Beetlejuice, fight, Hornswoggle from WWE. It's very much a, they know. I believe that these influencers are smart enough to realize that we will turn our backs on it if they're not entertaining.
Well,
and we won't buy them anymore.
The only problem with that is that like either your Logan Pauls that is into this world,
Jake
right?
Paul,
like
Logan
Jake
Paul.
Paul, whatever. Like they actually are amateur, I guess, amateur boxers at this point or whatever. They like train hard doing it. So
but that's like I take up a boxing class at a gym.
I think they have been at least that one dude.
Yeah, they're dedicating themselves to it, but they're still not boxers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I watched them. I watched a little bit of that fight, and the guy has like training. You know, obviously he knows how to throw a punch. He has skills,
more training than I got,
and he has obviously he's been boxing for a while. The problem is you can't ever. It's got to be Logan Paul. Like you can't get your D-list celebrities to be involved because
but a lot of people will be hate watching that too because a lot of people don't like that guy. So do you get celebrities that people don't like because people want to see them get hit?
That was the whole point of celebrity boxing at one point. It was get D-list celebrities, and
I'm not even saying D-list.
No,
I'm saying
she's
people
like,
that
hated.
Right.
Well, usually anybody that's hated,
they may not
celebrity,
want to do it.
Would never do it unless they were D-list. Like that's the problem. Like nobody. Because it's not worth their time or money or embarrassment. They can make money doing other things, but you got to find desperate people that are want attention and money to do these kind of things. Because it's a pain in the ass. Like they have to go to some sort of boxing class because they look, and even if they do the 2 weeks of boxing training, they're still going to look horrible in the ring.
No, of course.
And then the fight's going to be god-awful.
In our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, if you want to watch the show and chat and whatnot. Ghost of Manute Bull says, you guys would be enamored with the story behind the WWF's Brawl for All in the late 90s. These were legit boxing MMA fights that WWF ran through their TV show. Ran on their TV shows that resulted in many, many injuries. The winner won and fought Butterbean at WrestleMania 15. Butterbean knocked him out in 15 seconds. Bart Gunn was the winner. Yeah, I liked it when I remember when it's now the WWE. I remember when WWE was dabbling in like strongman competitions, like tough man rather, not strongman.
Yeah,
and it was like supposedly really sanctioned, like. Fish out of water, like you show up at the club and the guy with the hillbilly Jim with the overalls is over there, and you put the two guys in there, and I don't care what the match is, go at it. And
old UFC or Ultimate Fighter, like back in the day,
what style will prevail?
Yeah, the jiu-jitsu guy would fight the sumo wrestler, like the old transmission mechanic who knew how to box. Like it was an all mixed match, like Tank Abbott era, like tough, like toughest man fights and stuff.
I remember hearing about that. I remember my dad talking to like his buddy.
That's before we knew about concussions.
Well, it was before we knew about a lot of things. Like I remember, I wonder what I actually thought as a kid. I've never really given any thought, but I can remember sitting around the dinner table, my dad talking to my mom, and they had this friend in common. He was a huge man. He was like 6'6". His name was David Martin. He was a heavier guy, too, so he's like a big guy, and they would pal around, and they would go to wrestling together, and I remember my dad talking about wanting to go to like this they were going to go to a tough man competition. I wonder what I was even thinking. It was like at the Eddie Graham Sports Pavilion or like the Daytona Beach Ocean Center. Mm-hmm. Some trashy venue would run this tough. I mean, man... we live in such an odd time now that the idea of just showing up at some place. I drove my Honda Accord down there, and I got out, no mask. I saunter up. I get myself an ice cold Miller Lite, and I sit down. I watch two guys
sweating all
not
over
trained,
each other,
that are going to kill each other with no lawsuits afterwards. And one guy's literally going to get his head beat in.
Yeah. We'll be back there, except for the fact that the fights, they don't let that happen anymore.
That doesn't happen anymore. There's litigious, man.
Well, people died, and then that's when they're
there was that.
Yeah, because once a death is expensive for anybody to pay for, and that scares everybody away. If it was like injury, I think they'd still go on, but like once
you die,
someone died, everybody doesn't want to touch it, and like it's too much of a risk. Nobody would insure it. Even insuring our wrestling, professional wrestling in the 90s was super expensive because they wanted to, if someone lands on their neck, then it's like, all right, now you got someone that's paralyzed. You bring
up a really interesting point in the fact that, normally it is the death that changes the law or the rule. And, I've always wondered, and we have a very good friend, Mellow Mike. Remember when he got cracked in the head by a hockey puck at a Solar Bears game?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
And he was really hurt bad, and I've always wondered why that's just like, it's cool, it's like, because I guess, theoretically, if I buy a ticket for me and May and Andrea to go to these games, am I rolling the puck dice?
It's.
I know what you're saying, but I'm just.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, and I
just-
agree with you. Is it rare? Does it scare me from going to the game? No, absolutely not.
Right.
It absolutely does not. I'm saying, in reality, am I purchasing puck dice?
Well, there's have been
Remember
something.
the whole Monster Jam thing?
That was a tire.
I know.
They don't
but
play
It was,
hockey with tires.
it was a piece of the sprocket or something that shot out into the crowd.
Yeah,
but Major League Baseball dealt with this, and I
Yeah.
still think they are dealing with it. Maybe they put up nets longer now, but for a while, people were getting hit with foul balls, and then some kids were getting hit.
Yeah.
And it was happening on...
I only hit my wife with fresh balls.
Real Sports did an episode on this, and they were questioning why hasn't this been changed, and a lot of it was because these owners didn't want to put up nets, and they're like obstruction of seats.
Yeah,
and
it
like
changes
they're expensive
it
seats
changes
right there.
the
Yeah.
atmosphere. It's money in. And
Yeah, and then but their argument was this is happening too much, and like these balls are they're rocketing into the crowd and hitting. You know, you can hit the baseball that's going
dead.
100 miles an hour off of a bat, and then it hits a toddler. You know, like
Yeah.
that happened.
Yeah,
and so
hit a child.
and then
It wasn't just like a fat guy holding a beer, you know.
I think that's what changed it, but it takes a while for these companies because they're like looking at bottom line.
Turning
and
a
they're-
cruise ship, right?
and it's like it's rare, but then when it does happen, it's like you got to do something. It's it's all about the money too. It's that's people don't want to face that fact, but listen, all these companies that's what their religion is, money.
Yeah.
And they have to follow the money, and that's all they do. And then they do stuff not to get sued because of money, not
God,
because it's
money.
the right thing. Anyway.
Yep. Let's try this one. It'll make you uncomfortable.
Hey, Tom, Dan, and Sam. Jason from Ohio. Is it just me, or is there some sexual tension between
we heard
Tom
this one.
and Sam?
I just want to play it again, just to
okay.
make him uncomfortable. How about we did? Okay, enough Mike B. Let's try this one.
Hey, gang. Jake from Tampa here, BDM. Just calling because on a recent ACT, I believe, Dan, you were correcting Tom's pronunciation of the restaurant Ruth's Chris. I believe you said it was Ruth Chris, but it's actually Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. It's the possessive, as if it's Ruth's Chris, not James Chris. It's Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. So, Tom doesn't get a win very often, and I don't think he was even actually asserting the correct name, but at least both of you were wrong in this case. Anyway, SFT.
Take that, Daniel.
I thought that's what I said, but I say a lot of things wrong. People just don't say anything. And then when they do, I say, you know what makes them mad is
What's
like
a Chris?
They'll be like, you said that wrong, and I'll be like, okay. And then they're like, well, what are you going to do about it? I'm like, I don't know.
Nothing to do.
What do you want me to do about it?
So what is a Chris?
It's a man or a woman.
Well, it's Ruth's Chris
Steakhouse. So the specific type of steakhouse is a Chris Steakhouse?
Well, the origin meaning of the name is one who carries Christ.
Oh, it's a
So he's
Christian
carrying
steakhouse?
you a Christ steak.
Is it a religious thing?
I don't know.
Our steak is an awesome steak.
Look up a Chris Steakhouse and see if that's a particular style.
Has
of
it
steakhouse.
been abbreviated? Couldn't you have just said Christian Steakhouse instead of Chris Steakhouse?
Is it?
You just took the T off? Are you trying to trick me into thinking it's?
Is it Ruth's Christian Steakhouse?
I would rather it be called Ruth's Christian Steakhouse because then I know what I'm getting. Right?
Well, I don't know. I've been
And I
to
would have
Ruth's Chris.
taken.
There's nothing.
But I would have taken my mom there all the time.
But there's nothing
can you
in there.
imagine? For Mother's Day, every year we go to Ruth's Christian Steakhouse.
I don't know. I don't think that's it.
I don't think that's it either.
Yeah.
But Sam's saying that's it.
Wow.
I don't know.
Well, Google it. Somebody
I'm Googling. All it is telling me is about Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. There's nothing with just what is a Chris Steakhouse.
All right.
Anything I found about Chris is the name. Does anybody in the chat know something I don't know?
Yeah. I wonder what because if it's Ruth, if the possessive is it's Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, then a Chris Steakhouse has to be something, right?
Okay. Over 4 decades ago, Ruth Fertel, a divorced mother of 2, mortgaged her home for $22,000 to buy a small 60-seat restaurant in New Orleans named Chris Steak House.
Okay, so he just bought it, took it over, and added his name.
Shortly thereafter, a fire forced her to change the original location, and she renamed the restaurant Ruth's Chris Steak House.
Okay, yeah.
Dumb.
This is dumb. Ruth's Christian Steakhouse is dope. I would go there with my mom.
Yeah, you have some wine, drink the blood of Christ.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it would make sense. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, you know what made me, I'm like, why did you do
like
this?
Chick-fil-A. The original Chick-fil-A restaurant used to be called, it's owned by Truett Cathy, and it was called the Dwarf Restaurant.
What, Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, I believe the
we talked
original
about this
Chick-fil-A
before,
is
yeah.
called the Dwarf Restaurant. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Also, what's that fast food burger place with the steak burgers?
Steak and Shake?
Steak and Shake.
You almost said the name. If you just talked that out, if I'd have given you 5 more seconds, you'd have won.
So didn't someone...
It was the Dwarf Grill.
Yeah,
by the way.
the Dwarf Grill. No, the Italian company like Bulgari.
it's called...
It's like
Bulgari.
It's like a Bulgari's Steak and Shake.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's stupid. Just believe it.
Yeah.
Why do you put you change all the names?
And you know they signed it on the bottom. It was like Steak and Shake, and then like in black cursive on the
it's like
bottom, it's
by
like
Bulgari.
powered by Bulgari. I'm like, get out of here, Bulgari. Nobody likes you.
It doesn't help you at all. Like
it doesn't,
because it seems like just a narcissist thing to do.
You're pretentiousing my steak burger. If there's anything that shouldn't be pretentious, it's a goddamn steak burger, right? That should be America. And then you put on the bottom of it, you're like, and by the way, I hate the term powered by. If you use that for anything you do, you're like, Tom and Dad, powered by Streamline. If we did that, call us on it. And call us stupid, because it's stupid.
Yeah. Also, when I'm driving my Steak and Shake, I don't look and be like, oh, it's now powered by Bulgari. Like, it doesn't change nothing. It's the same, I realize, and everybody does.
In fact,
it's the same goddamn thing.
In fact, it's the opposite. It's bad because I look at it and I'm like, Bulgari. I want a steak burger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what is that?
Like,
that's something different.
Think you sprinkled some squid on it or something. I don't know. I just want a burger.
You're like, wait a minute. What's Bulgari doing? It's like,
Bulgari.
What is he doing in there?
Hold on a second.
Is it spaghetti now? I don't want it. I'm driving.
They do have spaghetti there, though. They have chili back. They have chili back.
Stupid.
It is good. One time, I was blackout drunk and ordered Steak and Shake, and my wife drove to the drive-thru and came home, and I wanted chili from Steak and Shake, which I don't know why you. And when it came, I opened the top, and whoever had filled the cup had just ladled the oil from the top in there, so there was like no meat and no beans.
Oh, you know what? It's probably the last at the end of the night. It was the end of the night,
and I was so mad. I was blackout drunk. I was so mad. I grabbed the phone to call them, but while looking up Steak and Shake, I passed out with the phone in my hand.
Just a cup of oil.
And I sat there.
Get Bulgari.
I got you with the
I just
Bulgari.
sat there with a Bulgari.
A bowl of Bulgari.
A cup of oil as my wife took, because what she likes to do when I do that, she likes to, she's not ride or die. She isn't going to get with me and help me out. She isn't going to call them and wake me up and go like, hey, okay, yell at the manager now. She will just take photos of me in that state from every different angle so she can shame me later.
Well, also, that's for the trial.
That's evidence.
Yeah. It's like, look at this. He's a
surprise witness. Bulgari's on the stand. Oh, my
That's
God.
what I like to call the, what was her name? Amy Heard. What was her name? That just with Johnny Depp? Amber Heard.
Is it
Yeah.
Amber Heard?
I believe so. Where she had all those photos of him like pass out on the side of the bed.
embarrassing.
Yeah. Except the only
Amber
difference
Heard,
between me and him, I don't dress like a gay pirate.
You'll be there one day.
I want to.
Yeah.
But I want to. I'm
It's only a matter of time.
A couple more trips to Fairville during Halloween time.
After
and I'm
this
there.
Land Cruise,
Man, I last night I'm trying to pick up my Land Cruise outfit.
Yeah.
And they just keep getting skimpier and skimpier.
Yeah.
We got to look into costumes because that's a funny idea.
I was thinking about just doing body paint and a sailor hat.
We can do it.
Right? But I don't think that would be allowed. I'd have to wear panties.
Yeah.
That's not fair. Girls can get away with it. Girls can get away with being at a party and just doing the body paint thing. Guys, you can't do it. There's too much.
You got to tuck some things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have to wear like at least a little loin thing.
Yeah, but girls have to wear some. They can't. You see the whole.
Well, only
You
if
see
they're
the
sitting
hole?
down.
No.
No. I'm just saying it.
I'm going to get an email about that.
Boogie.
No, if they sit.
that was how I was going to end.
Powered by.